This Olympic showcase has been brought to you by Nike, who reminds you to just do it. By Isuzu, for features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. By Old Spice deodorant, because prevention is the ultimate form of protection. Count on it. And by Seiko, the official timer of the games of the 25th Olympiad.
This broadcast was produced using Panasonic D3 half-inch digital recording technology.
He was cranky on soap.
Be quiet.
He was grumpy on Benson.
I said be quiet.
Now America's favorite grouch returns to TV.
You know you have very, very kind eyes. Anybody ever tell you that?
Nobody with that much facial hair.
Robert Guillaume in his funniest role ever. Pacific Station, Sundays this fall on NBC.
Hey, how's Anna Karenina doing?
Fine, fine. She had her spine replaced yesterday. How's David Copperfield?
Oh, he's the picture of health. They just took out his appendix. Yo, how's that textbook case doing?
Oh, he's better. They removed the colon.
We've decided to recover our book, the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here.
It's neighborhoods like this that make our community such a great place to live. People here work hard to take care of their homes. At M&T Bank, we can make that hard work pay off. Our home equity line of credit can help you take advantage of the equity you've built up over the years. For great homes, there's no place like our community. And for home equity lines of credit, there's no place like M&T Bank.
Channel 2 says, squish the fish.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills.
A sellout of over 80,000 fans, rich stadium, Buffalo, as this city salutes its defending AFC champions. A brisk autumn-like September day in western New York as we open this 1991 NFL season. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with former 49er coach Bill Walsh. We're pleased you're with us. The Bills and their fans are already thinking Minneapolis and another Super Bowl. Most of the experts agree, and Miami today is in trouble.
Yeah, they really are. They've had holdouts. They've had injuries. They haven't gotten their team together entirely during training camp. Don Shula says he's going to establish the run today, Dick. He's a great coach. I don't agree. I think the sooner he starts throwing, the better. It may take 50 passes for Marino to stay with that no-huddle offense.
And there's some talk about Jim Kelly and the left ankle he thought was broken earlier in the preseason.
Well, it's swollen. It's all taped up, but down on the field before the game, he didn't seem to be bothered with it.
There's Kelly. He said he even sleeps with that left ankle, heavily wrapped. And because he loves that no-huddle offense anyway, just is in love with the shotgun. He said that's because he gets to call most of his own plays. He feels that he'll be working very often in the quick offense, the no-huddle offense of the Bills. Don Shula looking for his 299th career win, the second winningest coach in NFL history to the immortal George Halas. Shula will be prowling the sidelines, and he's going to have to muster something very special to upset Marv Levy's Bills today. It will be Buffalo and Blue that will receive the opening kickoff. Eddie Fuller and Al Edwards are deep as the kick by Charlie Bauman, formerly with the WLAF. It goes to Fuller. And Fuller is cracked at the 22-yard line, and it'll be Buffalo and Jim Kelly playing it from there. Mike Iaquello, a free agent from Michigan State, made the tackle. There's Kelly, had the best quarterback rating in the league last year. And here is his offensive line. Many would rate this one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL. Wolford, Richard, Hall, Davis, and Ballard to protect him and open the holes for his top runner and the top rusher in the EFC last year, Thurman Thomas, the veteran Lofton, and the outstanding career record holder Andre Reed in receiving. receptions. Don Beebe in that hurry-up offense with Keith McKellar, the tight end. They come out in the shotgun, and the dump off is to Thomas, tripped up in the backfield, and a loss of a yard. His cracking through was rookie Brian Cox, number 51 from Western Illinois, a 5th-round draft pick. 2nd and 11, no huddle.
4 wide receivers, Dick.
And the give to Thomas. And Thomas is to the 27-yard line, a gain of 6 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5. David Griggs, the Miami linebacker, with the tackle. Tough to get in the Miami defensive lineup because of this hurry-up Buffalo offense. It just destroyed the Los Angeles Raiders in the AFC Championship game. Kelly to the sidelines, complete to Beebe, and it's a 1st down for Buffalo at the 37.
Miami had to go with their 3-man line, and Buffalo didn't let them get out of it. I'm surprised Miami just didn't call a timeout right away, because they're at a distinct disadvantage. They only have 4 defensive backs, and Buffalo has 4 wide receivers.
And in that last play, an extra wide receiver coming in, so under the NFL jurisdiction, you're allowed, even in the hurry-up, to get your defensive player on the field.
The play was ruled a completed catch on the field.
Referee Johnny Greer works the game today as the head man. Here's the defense of the Dolphins. Oglesby moves from inside outside with Turner and Cross on the front 3. You saw the linebackers and the defensive backs. Everything hurried up here.
The game's really changed, doesn't it, Dick? All the way up to us. We can't get our job done. Boy, oh boy. Miami's going to end up with a defensive back, Bobby Harden, as the middle linebacker in their nickel defense, and his job will be to cover Thomas. This is Beebe's catch. A square out pattern running right around the corner. Beautifully thrown ball. 1 foot. Oh, whoa, that was tight.
Michael Magruder, the cornerback, had pushed him, and that apparently part of the ruling. Thomas breaking tackles, and he storms to the 50 and a 1st down. What a player, Thurman Thomas.
Miami, the noise is so intense on the field. Miami, the defensive team, cannot converse verbally. They have to do it by hand signals, which means mistakes can occur.
Over the middle to Thomas, and he told us yesterday his goal after leading the National Football League in most yards from scrimmage last year again is to gain what Roger Craig did, and the only man in NFL history to accomplish 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. Craig did it with the 49ers in '85. It's Andre Reed, his first catch, and he bowls his way inside the Miami 35. Another 1st down.
What's so effective is that the Bills are going for the short gainers and the running plays. They're not taking big chances down the field.
8 times, half of the games last year, the Bills scored on their first possession, and they're moving the ball like they intend to get Miami early, and it's Thurman Thomas to the 20-yard line. And for those of you who last watched an NFL game in January and you saw Buffalo, especially against the Raiders, just eating up chunks, 8, 10, 15 yards out of that no huddle.
Now, this is simply a draw play. Everybody's picked up. One of the reasons is this running back, of course, but that offensive line of the Bills is just a beautiful group.
To the end zone, Beebe, and it's intercepted by Magruder. Michael Magruder from Kent State, from the Canadian Football League, a free agent, makes a touchdown-saving interception, but there's a flag down, and on the other side of the field, holding against Miami. Oh, my.
They come up with a 1 play to slow it all down, and they're called for holding on defense away from the play on the other side of the field.
Holding, 24 defense, 1st down.
Vesti Jackson, the former Bear, guilty of the hold on the opposite side of the field after Magruder had made a sensational defensive play to knock the ball free and intercept it in the end zone. Instead, it's Buffalo a 1st down at the 15 on the penalty.
Now, Miami has gone back to their 3-man line.
And here goes Thurman Thomas for 5 for 6 yards. Right up the middle from behind. T.J. Turner got a piece of him. And coming up from the secondary, Jarvis Williams.
We're finally getting a tight end in the game. Keith McKellar has joined the field around the 10-yard line. They'll go to more of a basic offense with 2 backs, a tight end, get the blocking they need.
Thomas has enjoyed big days the last 2 times the Bills have played Miami. It's Kelly to McKellar, incomplete at the 5-yard line. Tight end McKellar. And Kelly is limping after throwing that last pass, and McKellar has not gotten up either. But it's Kelly that should be perhaps a major concern, as he is limping on that injured left leg.
He is hurting.
There's Kelly limping his way back into the huddle. That does not look good.
Here's McKellar going up the field. And he ran a pattern where he started in, slid out. He ran right into Oliver. The big concern, though, of course, is Kelly. If he's taped up that heavily and his ankle's bothering him, he really must have a lasting injury, no question about it. He's going to have to operate out of that shotgun offense.
Frank Reich warms up. We have a timeout in Buffalo. The Bills threatening to score, but that is not a happy picture.
Get on, get on, get on. Get on, excitement.
The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
A new way to ride.
More than a work of art, an engineering masterpiece. With the stability of four-wheel independent suspension and the accuracy of anti-lock brakes. The art of excitement, the science of control. The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Get on the Pontiac. Get on excitement.
This car adds something special to his motor oil. So does the driver of this car. They both use STP oil treatment for drivers on a racetrack or drivers on a fast track. STP.
Big tight end Keith McKellar, came off under his own power after taking a pretty good hit on that helmet. And Jim Kelly, he stays in the huddle for Buffalo.
Those kind of ankle sprains, it can be very painful. And then the pain eases, but you know that those Miami pass rushers know that they can get to Kelly. He can make them avoid, and also they can get to that ankle again.
Encelars is in a tight end with Beebe to his right, far left, both Reed and Lofton, with Thomas in the backfield. Thurman Thomas behind Kelly. 3rd and 5. And it's Thomas. Does not have the first down, stacking him up at the 7-yard line, the center of the Miami defense, with Oglesby, Turner, Offerdahl all in there. So Buffalo will settle apparently for the 3 points. Kelly favoring just slightly now that left ankle as he comes off.
I don't think they can afford to take that shoe off either, Dick. I think that thing would swell up, so he's going to have to keep his shoe on and just gut it out. Miami actually won that war.
Scott Norwood was cheered here in Buffalo the day after he missed that potential game-winning Super Bowl kick, and that's a short one, 25 yards out of Frank Reich's hole. Norwood misses to the right. Oh, my. This crowd so supportive in Buffalo of Norwood after that heartbreaking chance in Tampa when Buffalo was that close to winning a Super Bowl, and Norwood misses an easy one to start 91.
If your sporty car doesn't feel so sporty anymore, you need a change. By the team, the B.F. Goodrich Tire Team. They'll put on B.F. Goodrich T8 Performance tires. Tires designed just for your sporty car. It's a whole new level of performance. Feel the difference. See your B.F. Goodrich Tire Team if they don't see you first.
Stepping out, hanging out, for extra comfort on the move. The underwear is through to the moon. Red, white.
For
For the extra comfort of ribbed cotton, the extra style of a trimmer fit, more men are switching to ribbed whites, only from Fruit of the Loom.
On the street, on the town, for extra comfort on the move, the underwear is Fruit of the Loom. Ribbed whites. Get on, exciting man.
The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Feel the control.
Equipped with the stability of four-wheel independent suspension, the stopping power of optional anti-lock brakes, and the grip of traction control. Bonneville reaffirms our belief that the most important safety feature in any car is a driver in control. The all-new Bonneville.
Get on, excitement.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Pontiac and your local Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. By Xerex Antifreeze Coolant, the temperature never drops below Xerex. And by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
Welcome back to Rich Stadium, Buffalo. The Dolphins holding at the 8-yard line. Norwood misses the field goal, and now Marino and Miami, and it's Mark Higgs, the little running back, 5'7" from Kentucky, and he gains 16 on his first carry before Kelso and Bailey can make the tackle. Here's the Miami offense with Dan Marino at the controls and a rebuilt offensive line with the holdouts and injuries. Dellenbach, Sims, Widener, that was his first snap in the NFL at center. Galbraith and Dennis. Marino has Page and Higgs behind him, two plain B runners with Duper and Clayton on the outside. Charles Henry has never played before in the NFL until that last snap, and there's Martin Banks in when Marino goes to the 4 wide set. It's Higgs again, and the former Wildcat stacked up at the 40, a gain of 4. Leon Seals, 96, in on the tackle. Higgs, who carried the ball last year only 10 times for 67 yards. Defensively, Buffalo this way, a couple of changes. One, of course, Bruce Smith, the all-pro defensive end, is not in the starting lineup. You see 73 there is Bruce Smith. 73, Mike Lodish, a second-year man from UCLA, is playing the defensive right end position.
You'd expect Miami to run to their left. Talley has no practice, no training camp, and of course Smith's not even in the game, so running left is where to go.
And it's Higgs again, and a big hole up the middle. And he's all the way to the Buffalo 43-yard line.
They went right to Mike Lodich, right toward Darryl Talley, and went and split him. Neither player was able to hold off the blocker well enough, so Miami knows where to go with the ball. Run left. Good end zone look at it. Running to the left, you'll see people turned out. Talley turned out, Bailey turned out, Lodich turned out. None of the three met their blocker and kept him square to the line of scrimmage.
Higgs, an 8th-round pick of Dallas in '88. And his fourth year was a Plan B pick from Philadelphia by Don Shula. He's gained 37 yards on this drive. Here's the flea flicker, and Marino looks long and has his man, Mark Clayton, for a touchdown. And one of the side officials knocked down and injured as Clayton went in for the score. 43 yards on the play.
It's a flea flicker. We lose track of the ball, but there was a lull by Clayton, then a burst up the field, and along the way, the defensive back was knocked off balance. Kirby Jackson lost track of the ball. So not only did they lose the ball at the line, they lost it down the field.
And I believe it was the side judge that was injured on the play as Leonard Smith, the defensive back, as he went for the tackle, knocked aside, and there is the wounded official who was totally unprotected, looking at the play and caught from the blind side.
For their contribution to a winning season. For the Bills player who influences the game with the timeliest play.
Until he raises and gives us his number, or we get help from the NFL people here, we don't want to falsely identify him.
These are not younger men that do this. By the time you become an effective enough official and experienced enough, you're sort of a middle-aged guy. So taking a fall at that stage of life is a little different than a ball player.
43 yards on the touchdown play to Clayton as they attend to the injured official. There's Leonard Smith, who was involved as the Bill who accidentally struck the official. It amounted to almost a cross-body block. So while they offer medical attendance, I will not break for a commercial here. Well, there's a good sign. Here's another look. The official, and you see Smith missing the tackle and then rolling right into the official. Oh, my. And the fact that he could get up on his own 2 feet is remarkable when you see that blow.
Just from out of nowhere. You don't expect it. You don't even see it coming.
I believe it was the side judge, Don Wedge.
Smith is just headlong into him. And fortunately, he was able to get both feet off the ground as he fell.
Next time you boo an official, fan, just think about how tough their job is in more ways than just judgments.
By the way, that was a great drive by Don Shula. The play calling, they ran to their left, they set it up, they tried the flea flicker. It was beautifully executed.
Well, and that was after they did a good job of stopping what seemed the unstoppable, the opening Buffalo drive. Here's Bauman, the WLAF kicker with the Orlando Thunder, as Pete Stoyanovich is not signed with Miami, and the Dolphins, considered rather sizable underdogs here in Buffalo, open with a 7-0 lead.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a country club just for regular guys and a few things were changed, like monster carts allowed on course, water hazards shall no longer be hazardous, spikes encouraged in the clubhouse, only really great premium beer served, like cold filtered Keystone and Keystone Light, bottle beer taste in a can.
Hey, I'm in the sand again.
All right.
Nice shot.
Thanks. Wouldn't that be great?
Get on, get on, get on. Get on, excitement.
The Sport Coupes of Pontiac.
Running way to ride.
The 24-valve Grand Prix GTP with 210 horsepower. The V8 Thunder of Firebird Trans Am. And the V6 Kick of Sunbird GT. High style and high performance. Pontiac excitement most abundant.
Get on the Pontiac. Get on excitement.
Some men would rather live their lives sheltered in the harbor, and some would rather sail into life with the unmistakable scent of Old Spice. Clean, true, and classic. Old Spice, one of the legends of the sea.
When you can't catch the game, catch the guy who did. Sports director Ed Kilgore. Now more than ever, there's good reason to watch Channel 2, your 24-hour news station.
Dan Marino with that touchdown, tying Joe Montana on the all-time NFL list for touchdown passes, number 6. And Dan isn't 30 years old yet. It appears if he stays healthy, he's going to break all the touchdown marks. Fran Tarkenton out there in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, by the time it's over, he'll have every touchdown, every distance, everything.
Bauman kicks it off. It's to Fuller's side, and the former LSU star takes it out to the 20 and is tackled at the 26-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown play and how the Marino led offense set up the cornerback, Bill.
It can be very subtle the way it works. Now you'll see here the ball handed off and then pitched back. It's very well done. The offensive line firing out. There's the handoff, practiced well. But down the field right at this point is where the mistake is made by Jackson. Kirby Jackson levels off just for a second, fooled, and by that time Clayton's behind him. Now Jackson's trying to recover, and he never does.
As soon as we get word on the injury to Don Wedge, we'll pass that along to you. It's Thurman Thomas trying the center of the Miami defense for a couple, nothing there. Let's take a look at the other scores in the NFL. New Orleans rallies to win at home, 27-24. Kansas City opens with a victory. And Philadelphia, although the news is not good, and quarterback Cunningham injured, may be out for a month or more. Dallas beats Cleveland, and the Jets open with a victory against Tampa Bay at home. The late games, Pittsburgh an early field goal lead, Houston 6-0 against the Raiders, and Minnesota a field goal advantage at Chicago. New England, 7-0 lead against Indianapolis. Phoenix, 2 touchdowns against the Rams. And Denver at home, a 7-0 early lead against Cincinnati. And the injured player is T.J. Turner of the Miami Dolphins. So the injury news here early has not been good. Well, we have a moment here in Buffalo. Let's go to NFL Live in New York, and Marv Albert with this update.
All right, Dick, on the subject of injuries, the big NFL story earlier today on this play. Quarterback Randall Cunningham suffered torn ligaments in his left knee. He will undergo an MRI examination as soon as possible. If surgery is required, it probably means he's out for the season. With Jim McMahon at quarterback, the Eagles beat Green Bay 20-3. Back to Dick and Bill.
And Marv Albert, we also heard a report, and perhaps you can substantiate it, that quarterback Dave Craig of the Seattle Seahawks has suffered a broken right thumb in the game late against New Orleans, which would really penalize the chances of the Seahawks, who then lost on a late New Orleans touchdown. We heard a report that Craig with an injured thumb. Perhaps you can give us more information on that later. Turner okay, and he's replaced by a free agent, Chuck Klingbeil from Northern Michigan, a former hockey player up there in the Upper Peninsula, Houghton, Michigan.
Chuck has his work cut out for him. He's not surrounded by top people, and they're going to run right down the middle on him with that big offensive line.
Played the CFL at Saskatchewan last year. Was voted the Grey Cup defensive most valuable player a couple years ago. Kelly on 2nd and 8 to Reed, who breaks tackles and then is pushed back as the second surge defensively comes from the Miami secondary. Lewis Oliver and David Griggs in on the tackle.
Oliver really wants a game here. The embarrassment the last time these teams played, when he was caught trying to cover the top receivers, Reed and Lofton, as a safety, he just couldn't get it done.
Give us the fullback Carwell Gardner, and on a second effort he has a first down at the 36-yard line. They had him stop short of the 35, but the 235-pound Gardner from Louisville is able to fight for first down yardage.
Boy, did Oliver come up on that point. He really got a hit. It just wasn't quite enough because there was a spin-off move and other people didn't follow up on it.
Kelly in traffic, and he dives at the 41-yard line. A gain of 5 more before Mike Reichenbach, the former Eagle, can secure the tackle.
Kelly couldn't slide because of that ankle. You see him try to slide on that surface, and he just had to go head first.
They work on the defensive lineman T.J. Turner of Miami. Lifting up the knee. Out of the shotgun. Underneath to Reed. First down and more. He's to the 41 of Miami. Reichenbach tripped him up. Andre Reed from Kutztown State. 48 catches, then 53, 57, 71, 82 a Buffalo record, and last year 71 more.
So much of it is the run after the catch. He may be the best in football, along with John Taylor of the 49ers, running after the catch.
Buffalo trailing 7-0 midway through the opening quarter. Kelly, the quick out to Lofton. And the veteran, the #1 pick of the Green Bay Packers, 1978, gets some yardage, his first catch of the new season.
No pass rush by the Dolphins, none whatsoever, and that is really going to hurt as the game progresses. If they fatigue at all, Kelly's going to have all the time he needs.
Lofton with 35 last year to push him up to #6 all-time NFL history. Here's the big pullback, Gardner, and he's down to the 30-yard line, and that looks good enough for another first down.
Jarvis Williams, Lewis Oliver, both safeties are making all the stops, and they're coming up and doing a great job of it. Heavy hitting, but they can't be expected to do that down after down. They're going to get hurt down deep behind them before it's over.
Well, this no-huddle offense has to be punishing for the defense. Every time you can catch your breath, they're coming back at you again. Kelly to Lofton, to the 15, and another first down. Oh, this offense is omnipotent. Kelly on a little roll to the left, Bill.
It's a sprint out like the run and shoot pride of accident. See, he can't use that left ankle. He threw all arm.
And all off the right foot.
He's still got, of course, the great arm and great poise.
From the 16, a 14-yard gain last play. It's Thurman Thomas with those quick feet down the middle to close to the 11-yard line before Reichenbach and company could make the stop.
Did that Miami touchdown mean something? It took the heat off Miami because you can see that Buffalo is just going to dominate with their offense. Dominate. So Marino's going to have to throw and complete passes to stay with him.
2nd and 5 for Kelly. Looking into the end zone, and it's intercepted. Miami with another big defensive play, and it's Lewis Oliver finally pushed out of bounds by Kelly out at the 35-yard line. So Oliver, who had 5 interceptions last year and was humiliated in the playoff game when Reed and company picked him apart, comes up with a touchdown-saving intercept.
Kelly wants to throw a slant to the inside. Lofton coming around to the outside. Oliver, as a safety, is sitting right in the hole. A mistake, most likely. Kelly is trying to catch Oliver here, and this could be further damage.
Don Shula wanted a face mask call here.
I think it's the back of the helmet. Oh, there it is. Just a touch of it.
Oh, Miami dodges another bullet. Buffalo moves inside the 10 twice and has nothing to show for it. And here comes Mark Higgs. He's out to the 47-yard line. And a first down before Cornelius Bennett can make the tackle. And there's Oliver with his first steal of the new season.
Well, running in behind Richer and Wolford on the left side with Kent Hull as the center. You'll see Miami going after Buffalo on that left side. Really, I'm talking about Sims and Dollenbach.
Don't forget Tony Page, that big blocking fullback, number 49. Marino with the first down. It's Higgs again. This time he's met in the backfield. He drags the tackler a yard, maybe more, to the 50-yard line. It's Cornelius Bennett.
Well, Lewis Oliver, last year, he had 200 yards thrown against him. Trying to play man-to-man defense, being asked to. It wasn't his job. That was the adjustment of the defense. And at 6'3", 230 pounds, he cannot cover. But playing as a free safety, coming up and making hits, and then playing the ball, he's as good as they get.
2nd down and 8, just shy of the 50 for Marino and the Dolphins. They lead 7-0. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Marino with a bullet and a first down at the 35-yard line as Mark Duper makes his first catch of the day.
Well, as the game progresses, Duper and Clayton both, they're the two veterans who are going to have to make these kinds of plays. Now, he's going to burst straight up the field and put his defensive back on his heels. You see how sharply he broke, came right around the strong safety, open, beautiful throw. They're going to have to do that throughout the game.
Marino, 2 throws, 2 catches, 58 yards and a touchdown. And now to Higgs, the tailback. He's to the 32-yard line with a flag down. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle from Central Missouri State, where he starred with the Mules in Warrensburg, Missouri. Very quick on the nose, made the stop.
That right side of the Bill defense with Darryl Talley having no training camp, coming in a week before practice, ended just 1 week, had 3 days of practice.
Offside, defense, line it up in the neutral zone. Still first down.
So 5 yards to Miami. That doesn't please 63-year-old Marv Levy, now in his 6th season in Buffalo.
Well, Marv knows he didn't have Talley. He was holding out, finally came back. Lodish playing instead of Smith. Bailey, not that large. Miami's going to go to their left all day.
Left, Duper right. It's Higgs.
Here they come again.
Cuts inside and gets to the 27-yard line. Pickup of a long 3. It'll be 2nd and 2. Conlon and Talley make the stop. Talley, as we talked to him, doesn't seem all that happy as he did return to the Buffalo lineup. They did not renegotiate his contract. Feels that others of his equal are paid much more than he is, and got every feeling from you as we sat there, Bill, listening to him, that Talley's going to play out to be a free agent next year.
Well, he's thinking of other clubs, but I'm sure it's because he's disappointed.
2nd and short. Higgs again protecting the ball, gets to the 25, stop there. He'll be just shy of the first down. Leon Seals and Leonard Smith coming up from the safety spot to collaborate on the tackle. In Higgs now, Bill, with 54 yards rushing in this first quarter. All last year, he had 67.
On the field with Don Shula before the game during the warm-ups, I said, now is that your running back? Pointing at Higgs, 5'7". He says, we're going with him. I think he can do it. That's why Don Shula has so many victories. He knows what he's doing.
Third and short, it's Higgs off the left side, and second effort is to the 24, good enough for a first down.
Well, I must say, Dick, I'm surprised at their ability to run the football today. I didn't think they could get it done. And they're running primarily to their left, but they're going right at the strength of the Bill defense. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, 275 pounds, one of the quickest in the league. And Widener is handling him pretty well. At least he's sustaining his block, and Wright just isn't getting away from Widener, the center.
Higgs is only 5'7". He does weigh 195, so he's not a small man. He's just a short man. Former Kentucky Wildcat, first down. Movement by the Dolphins will cost them this play as Higgs had another 10 yards. But the up back, Tony Page, had lurched offside or moved prematurely, didn't reset himself.
Well, if Marino had seen it, he could have called timeout, but he was the one person in the whole stadium that didn't see that movement. Couldn't do a thing about it. But Higgs not having played and not being that big, even weight-wise, 195 pounds, Dick, but boy, is he quick and he's strong. He gets underneath people.
Offense. 2 men moving. Still first down.
First down and 15 then for Miami as it's marked back to the 29.
There's going to be some movement on the left side. You'll see it. The noise here is so intense. And the people furthest from Dan Marino, the offensive tackle, in this case a wingback, just can't hear it.
Leading 7-0. Final seconds of the first quarter, and Marino won't get the play off. That's it, the end of the first period. A period in which Buffalo moved the ball easily until it got inside the Miami 10. No points for the Bills. Miami in the lead.
Get on, get on, get on, get on, excitement.
The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Feel the control.
Its optional anti-lock brakes, proof-tested to be ready when needed. Its airbag deployed countless times, though it's hoped you'll never see it. Redesigned, re-engineered, and ready to ride. The all-new Pontiac Bonneville.
Get on the Pontiac. Get on excitement.
Chevy Chase loves nothing but trouble. Dan Aykroyd loves nothing but trouble. John Candy loves nothing but trouble. Demi Moore loves nothing but trouble. And you'll love nothing but trouble, too. Look for it at your video store.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's important to remember at a time like this, when it's very dark and very cold. Ah, you did remember Xerex Antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
The Steelers battle the Bills. The Chargers take on the 49ers. An NBC football doubleheader next Sunday.
There he is, the jaw, Donald Francis Shula, in his 29th NFL year, 22nd in Miami. One of the most respected men in all of football, and his Dolphins have played well enough. They lead 7-0, and they have the ball in a scoring position, Bill, going into the second quarter. And
well, Dick, I guess I can say wait till the second half, but I might be wrong. The two miscues, the two plays that got the ball turned around by the Dolphin defense has allowed Don Shula to run the football. If he were down 14-0, I'm sure he'd start throwing, but right now he's right with his game plan, and his defense, in a sense, has saved him.
Well, Buffalo had the ball at the Miami 8. Were stopped. Norwood missed a 25-yard field goal, and then they had it at the Miami 11 when Oliver intercepted Kelly in the end zone. And now it's Marino, first down 15 as we open the second period. Play action to Higgs, and then he throws to Page, and the fullback stumbles to the 25-yard line, a gain of a couple before Darryl Talley can down him.
Marino not great, especially rolling out to his left. He's not the quickest footed athlete, but the play worked beautifully. They set it up, started the run in, he rolled out left and had his man wide open.
Other scores, late scores, the Steelers, the Oilers, and the Vikings in the lead. Field goal game. Cincinnati has tied Denver. Phoenix by 2 touchdowns, and New England and Indianapolis are tied. Second down and 11. And it's Higgs who gets 5 more to the 20-yard line, as he's apparently going to equal his entire 1990 output in the first half today.
Well, this is what happened to Buffalo in the Super Bowl. The last time they played a game for real, the Giants did the same kind of thing. They split defenders, the ball carrier, no elaborate blocking. They just sustained their blocks, and the Buffalo defenders sort of took themselves out of the play by making a move one way or another. And so the same problem defensively for Buffalo as the Super Bowl.
They go to 4 wide, Marino in the shotgun. And under pressure, incomplete, a flag down. Duper, the intended receiver, covered by James Williams.
Well, Marino could see the blitz coming. Everybody could see it.
Ball start. 74 offense. Prior to the snap.
Mark Dennis, the right tackle, trying to get an early backward step with that blitz charging from the Buffalo side.
Yep. Buffalo brought everybody that time. Dennis saw it. He had to change his blocking assignment, and he moved just before the snap. Now, Marino will hold his poise. This is why he's the highest paid guy in football. He sees it coming, and then Bennett takes a shot at him. The ball is gone. Bennett takes a shot. And so, in a sense, they were fortunate to get the down back.
Miami, 9 straight years, least sacks allowed, including last year.
That's that quick right arm. He gets it off so quick, at the last instant, he can get rid of it.
On 3rd and 11 again. Marino throwing for Clayton to the 2-yard line. Mark Clayton, a tough catch with 4 Bills surrounding him and off balance, able to pull that one in. Those great hands of the veteran Clayton.
Well, Clayton rose to the occasion. Now, this is a great one. And Marino was in deep trouble going left. He had a chance to run for a few yards, but going left, coming up underneath everything, he was running left and throwing left. Look at that ball way up in the air, and there just wasn't good enough response out of Leonard Smith, the safety. He should have been all over that play. The ball was in the air too long for the safeties not to make a play on it. But Clayton and Duper are going to have to make those kind of plays today.
Clayton with 1 touchdown. Marino is 4 for 4 passing in this first half. 1st and goal. It's Higgs over the top, touchdown. Mark Higgs just climbing the ladder and falling in the Buffalo end zone for a 13-0 Dolphin lead. That is his first NFL touchdown. Higgs, who has been quite brilliant in this first half.
Higgs comes right up over the top. It's by design. He leaps right from there. He should get middle linebacker stopping that kind of a thing, and somewhere Conlon wasn't in on the play. Couldn't find him. I think he committed himself, and the ball carrier went right over his head. Now, this is a shocker for Marv Levy, because it's not that they can't come back from this, but they didn't expect this, certainly.
Bauman hooks that extra point, but it's good, and it's 14-0 Miami with a timeout and 12:21 left in the opening half.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol, the only leading motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. After all, why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Okay, say, do I love the authentic frosty mug taste of A&W root beer?
Marker.
Action. God, was that an earring? Action. What the?
Marker.
Get rid of the silly jewelry.
Ooh, silly!
It's the taste that made A&W famous.
Right now, every gallon of paint is on sale at Sears. Every interior, every exterior. Save 10 to 33% on Weather Beater, Easy Living, Dutch Boy, Olympic Stain, and more. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
The tradition, the history, the excitement of Notre Dame football. The Irish battle the Indiana Hoosiers. Saturday.
Ganberg with Bill Walsh back at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, stunned a bit as Miami 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns.
And by and large, the most simply blocked running plays in football, just man block plays. No trapping, no change of direction plays, going right at them. And again, the Bills have this one flaw defensively, and that's allowing their individual players to be turned one way or another at the line of scrimmage.
And Jim Kelly now will endeavor to rally his offensive troops. By the way, Clayton, with his catches in the first half, has moved over 7,000 yards. He's the 3rd Dolphin to reach the 7,000 plane. Nat Moore still the all-time leader in the high 7s, and Mark Duper, his teammate, the other. Norwood's end-over-end kick is short. Or check that, Bauman's is short, but Edwards. And Edwards, a sprinter, can't quite turn the corner. He's tackled at the 24, and with it, a flag goes down. Veteran Paul Langford, number 44, made the stop. Kelly comes on the field. Let's check the penalty call.
It's a car born of intelligent engineering. It's 100,000 ideas fused into one. It's responsive, innovative, refined. It's a driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes. Introducing the all-new 88 Royale LS. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Pretend your TV is a beer mug.
We're gonna pour you a Miller Lite. Oops,
Sorry, foam got on your carpet.
Now, tilt the TV towards you and taste why light is what beer is today.
The great Pilsner taste keeps you ahead of it all.
Everybody likes that.
Can we pour you another?
Hey, I know. Why not buy 6 more TVs and invite some friends over?
Miller Lite.
It's it.
And that's that.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Regular, sensitive, metal.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
When you have a lot of horses under your hood, shouldn't you have Michelin high-performance tires under your car?
Witness the unmatched drama and emotion of a great golf tradition as Payne Stewart and Paul Azinger lead America against Europe's best, the Ryder Cup, later this month on NBC.
Welcome back to Rich Stadium. Block in the back penalty, so Buffalo will start at the 14. Now, how do you figure? I guess that's what makes this game so exciting. Everything pointed toward a big Buffalo game, and here they trail 14-0.
Everybody in the stadium, including me, I know, expected Shula to throw the ball and Buffalo to score with these drives. But a couple of miscues, Shula one-trick play, then taking it right to Buffalo. They're in command at this point.
No question they missed Bruce Smith, and now you wonder how healthy is Jim Kelly. Will he be able to survive even this first game?
And the no-huddle won't hold up the entire game. You can count on that.
So it's the Bills and Kelly starting at the 14. Thomas, who seems to have 5 to 7 yards anytime he wants it. Tackled by Jarvis Williams as Thomas picks up around 8 on the scoreboard. Pittsburgh still leading by a field goal. Houston now opens a 13-0 lead against the Raiders in Minnesota. A field goal lead at Soldier Field. Denver at home 14-7 against the Bengals. The Rams have cut into Phoenix's lead, and on the quick huddle, nothing much there for Thurman Thomas. As T.J. Turner back in the game and on the stop along with Klingbeil.
It appears that Kelly is taking signals from the sideline. He's not calling his own plays here. He's getting a signal, then coming up and using the audible. You see him looking to his left for Ted Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator. So here comes their short yardage offense.
Butch Roll, who has a storied string of touchdown catches. His last 8 receptions have gone for touchdowns, but he's usually in there on the goal line, now in a short yardage third and less than a yard. Also an eligible receiver, 74, Glenn Parker, is enhanced by Johnny Greer, and it's Harwell Gardner, the big fullback, over the top for the first down. Jamie Mueller, who has been noted for his excellent blocking for Thomas through the years, has a serious neck injury, and some fear it's a narrow spinal canal, and Mueller is on the injured reserve, but he himself is concerned that it might be a career-threatening or ending injury or condition. So Gardner's the man now for Buffalo, and it's Thomas over the middle, out across the 30-yard line, and a pickup of about 4.
Well, Miami has been waiting for those crossing patterns. Toward the end of last year, Buffalo just destroyed people with shallow crossing patterns. That time, Miami dropped into a zone and then just took apart Thomas when he got to him.
Well, the Bills' offense on the roll again, and it's Thomas, who is lined out wide across the 41-yard line, a first down. So the Bills have had no trouble moving on the Miami defense. Once to the 8-yard line stopped, short field goal missed, another to the 11-yard line, an interception in the end zone by Miami stopping that drive, and this is their third possession. 9:45 left, first half, 14-0 Dolphins. It's Gardner trying to get wide and cannot turn the corner. Stopped at the 40-yard line.
This Dolphin team is responding defensively. Their pursuit, they're outgunned in a sense, but their pursuit is super. And Brian Cox, a 5th-round draft choice, playing his first league game. He's made a number of plays, and what's most critical, he's meeting blockers very physically.
Kelly, well protected.
Zone defense.
And he goes underneath to the fullback Gardner across the 45 to the 46. Offerdahl, the middle inside linebackers, 4 times a Pro Bowler in his 5 years out of Western Michigan. Makes the stop. It's 3rd down and 5. Again, the no huddle, hurry up offense. Kelly finds Andre Reed, breaking tackles. He might go. Reed, touchdown Buffalo. Yards, and once again it's Reed's ability to run after the catch that spells touchdown.
A 5 to 8 yard pass, he makes 2 people miss, then outruns everybody else. Now this has really been the story of this Bill offense, the short pass and the big run afterwards.
The leg strength of Reed as he scored 8 touchdowns last year, and as you saw, that was his 40th career score. Already 4 catches today. Norwood's try for point, and it's 14-7 Miami. As Kelly is 12 for 14 in the half.
A zone defense. Watch a short pass. Top almost down there. And now this great movement. He completely outmaneuvers Jarvis Williams, and then it's a foot race.
James Lofton was the man who threw the block that let him free the final 20. Timeout.
Today, a guy losing his hair can choose between being the man he wants to be
We look great with hair. Do something to save it.
and the man he could become.
Can't you accept nature like everyone else?
Doctors have hair loss treatment programs that are proven to work, and the sooner you see a doctor, the better.
We don't want nature. We want hair.
When you've considered the arguments,
We might look great bald.
and you decide you want hair, there's only one thing to do. See your doctor, or call this number for more information.
Introducing a car so intelligently engineered, its elegance and grace can be measured along these lines or graded on a curve. The 1992 Oldsmobile 88 Royale, beautifully redefined and nimble enough to prove that a straight line isn't always the best way to get from point A to point B. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
A muffler isn't something you just stick under your car. The wrong one could really hurt your engine performance and fuel economy. Midas quality mufflers are installed by experts and backed by a great guarantee. Ain't nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin. Clinically proven Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Miller Lite, it's it and that's that. By the Upjohn Company, if you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor. And by MetLife, get Met, it pays.
Welcome back to Buffalo. Andre Reed brought the faithful to their feet. 80,000 plus here at Rich Stadium with that 54-yard reception and run. It's 14-7 Miami as Norwood has it teed up. Deep for Miami. Rookie Aaron Craver from Fresno State on the far side and Mark Logan on the near side. Because of the wind, they're going to have to hold the ball for Norwood. Deep, Logan in the end zone, and he'll take the touchback. Jim Kelly has moved the Buffalo offense very well. 3 possessions, finally has a touchdown. Timeout.
Miller Lite would like to translate the sounds guys make when watching baseball.
The great Pilsner taste keeps you ahead of it all.
Can't beat that.
Miller Lite.
It's it.
And that's that.
To compete, you've got to be strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us, the few, the proud, the Marines.
It's a car born of intelligent engineering. It's 100,000 ideas fused into one. It's responsive, innovative, refined. It's a driver's side airbag and anti-lock brakes. Introducing the all-new 88 Royale LS. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Karts Karai, St. John Smith, and America's Boys of the Beach take on the world's best. The Miller Lite World Invitational from Walt Disney World. Live next Saturday following Notre Dame football.
Back in Buffalo, Miami 2 possessions, 2 long drives to touchdowns. And it's 14-7. Miami leading starting from the 20-yard line on the new carpeted Rich Stadium floor. They're going to burn it up the way these 2 teams moving the ball today. Marino. Complete again to the 43-yard line to Mark Clayton. 23 yards.
Don Shula spoke of the run and then the play pass, and that's what he's getting. Does a beautiful job of it. And Marino, if he gets time, he's so accurate deep down the field. And this is the part that's so impressive. Good deep in pattern in the 20-yard area, and that ball's right on the numbers, right in between people.
Mark Duper, the receiver for Miami, protecting the ball well. And now Higgs, the tailback. The little guy pounds out to the 47-yard line. We're in Buffalo. Marv Albert, NFL Live, with this update from New York.
3, 2. Dick, in answer to your earlier question on this play, was Dave Craig of Seattle suffering a broken right thumb in the game against New Orleans. According to the Seahawks, he will be out 8 weeks. Jeff Kemp finished up for Craig. Seattle lost to the Saints 27-24. Back to Dick and Bill.
Thank you, Marv. So a tough day already. 2 starting quarterbacks out for some time. Cunningham of Philadelphia, Craig of Seattle. On 2nd down and about 5, it's Higgs into Buffalo territory to the 48-yard line. He's shy of a first down by a long yard.
They miss Bruce Smith, no question about it. Mike Lodish playing at the right defensive end. Darryl Talley at the right linebacker. They're getting knocked off the ball at 5 yards a shot. And this is something you never expected from a Dellenbach with Webb not in the game. So the starting great tackle, Richmond Webb, is not playing for Miami, yet they're running right in behind Dellenbach and making the yards.
Bruce Smith, as you saw him earlier, he'll make a linebacker a Pro Bowler in a hurry playing behind him, and Talley will acknowledge that without Smith, he's a different player.
He's getting handled at this point, no question about it. But I'm impressed with Jeff Dollenbach, and now he's blocking Mike Lodish. No question about that. They're just good journeyman NFL football players, but sustaining the block, and they're just knocking them off the line of scrimmage.
Well, Lodish is out now, and the rookie from North Dakota State, Phil Hansen, number 90, is playing that defensive right end position. It was a first down on the measurement. Tony Page, the fullback on a delay, is to the 40-yard line. A gain of 7. Shane Conlon, Pro Bowler the last 3 years, made the tackle.
Now, if they're going to Hansen, a rookie from North Dakota State, that means they're reaching for something. They've got to get help over there. And a guy that's never played, they're willing to try him at that spot. So Miami would be good just going over there all day. That time, the play pass by Marino had me totally fooled.
Marino perfect, 6 for 6. There's Hansen, the ex-Bison. Steve Nelson, pretty good all-pro from North Dakota State with the Patriots all those years. Here's Higgs, and he meets some resistance on the right side. Jeff Wright is there to make contact, along with Conlon.
And I'm somewhat surprised that Jeff Wright hasn't done a better job to his right side, where he knows that problem is, either by the defensive call, he could be slanting that way, some way to cut down that yardage going off the left side, or the Bill defensive right.
On third down and about 1.5 yards, the Dolphins send in some extra blockers. It'll be Greg Beatty, a second tight end, along with Charles Henry. Jim Jensen is the wing back right, and of course, Marino loves to go to him. But it's Higgs. He hits a pile and then slides to the right, and they're going to mark it back as Kirby Jackson helping out the line judge. It'll be close. Oh, if they had a Mount Rushmore for the National Football League, they had to chisel the face of Don Shula first, put it up there first. Be a great start. It is short. The ball just inside the 38.
He's going for it. And you know why? He knows when Buffalo gets the ball, what they've been doing offensively, Don's got to keep control of the ball. Got to take a shot. Biggest play of the game. And Marino calls timeout.
With 4:46 remaining in the first half, the Dolphins want to talk about it. On fourth down and about 1/2 yard, just inside the Buffalo 38-yard line.
Well, that lead play going off the left side would do it. It's done it every other time.
Surprising, the last 2 calls have been to the right side.
Maybe they're just trying to mix it up.
And with a timeout, the score, Miami 14, Buffalo 7.
The power of intelligent engineering is routinely put to the test at Oldsmobile. And here's the result. Of all the Cutlass Sierras ever sold in the last 10 years, we can say 96% are still on the road. Safely say, Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Some storm we had last night.
At times like this, it's reassuring to know that MetLife has the resources to pay every single customer claim, no matter how many come in at one time.
Get Met. It pays.
Sometimes I dream that he is me. You got to see that's how I dream to be. A dream I move. I dream I grew.
Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. I'm gonna be like Mike. Like Mike. If I could be like Mike. Be like Mike. Like Mike. If I could
2:46 left in the first half. Don Shula making a bold decision to go for it on 4th down and less than a yard. As Bill Walsh has indicated, Shula, with his defense unable to stop Buffalo, must take this chance and hope that he can get the yard and continue possession toward a possible 3 or 7, leading 14-7 here in the first half.
He's got to go for it. Biggest play of the game.
It's to Higgs over the top and a first down. And you can see Higgs' height. He was a record-setting in the NFL Combine vertical jump. He's only 5'7", but from a standing start can jump 43 inches off the floor. And you can see the way he vaults himself over the line.
Well, he went over everybody. Looked like he twisted his ankle a little bit in the big play. There's Don. He's going to reach in there and get that.
His vertical jump is a little less than 43 inches, as is Marv Levy's. So first down just shy of the 35, with the Dolphins leading 14-7, 4 minutes left in the half. NFL Live with all the scores, top plays at halftime, so stay with us. Marino, a rare sack of the quarterback of the Dolphins, and it's Darryl Talley who gets him.
Just giving credit to Jeff Dallenbach for such a beautiful job run blocking. And this time he opens up on Talley, and he just can't move his feet quick enough. Now, Dan could have gotten rid of that. It's hard to say with a quarterback like Marino not getting rid of it, but he thought he could hold him off and still throw the ball. So Darryl has made a little bit of a comeback after an average start in this ball game. Big sack.
10-yard loss, 2nd and 20 Miami.
With just quickness that he had that beat Dallenbach. Just quickness.
Clayton to the right, Duper left. And timeout Miami. Well, something wrong as Marino, checking the defense and his alignment, didn't like what he saw. That gives us a chance in this first week of the 91 season to look ahead to next week in our lineup. It's a doubleheader week here on NBC. There are the early games after NFL Live at 12:30. Pittsburgh will be here in Buffalo. The Colts in Miami. Cleveland will go to New England. In the late games, most of you will see the Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers. Some of you Denver and the Raiders, and the Jets Seattle round out our big doubleheader week next Sunday here on NBC. Bill Parcells will be debuting as a analyst in the booth. What game does he have?
Well, he'll be fine if he just doesn't revert to his communication. Excuse me.
Easy enough for you to say.
Using that 4-letter communication when he's unhappy.
Well, football, all of those. Yeah. He'll be in Miami, Indianapolis-Miami game. Bill will join, I believe, Marv Albert. Of course, Paul McGuire here in Buffalo, recovering from bypass surgery. Had a chance to visit Paul McGuire last night, and gee, what a quick recovery. He wants to go to work already. They're having trouble harnessing him and holding him down.
He really looks great. Lost 20 pounds. Even his voice has changed. It's more like mine now, Dick.
Thank God Beverly, his wife, is finally in control of the situation. Halftime, all the scores and highlights is Bill and Will McDonough and Marv. Costas, of course, completing his work in Tokyo, the World Track and Field Championships with OJ. They'll be back in the studio next Sunday. 2nd down, 20.
Well, he's got to get part of it now. Just half of it, 10 yards.
And he does. Oh, no, he doesn't. Duper had it right in his grasp and tried to run before he really pulled it in.
Well, he was going to get half of it, and Duper took his eye off the ball. He wanted to run. He saw so much room out there, such a soft form of coverage by Odoms that there's just nothing there. Look at that. Odoms is 25 yards deep. So in the zone defense, there was a miscue, and what a chance to make a play. Now it'll be tougher.
First Marino pass to hit the ground. He was 6 for 6 until that pass. Between the two quarterbacks, 20 throws, 18 completions.
Well, a gain of 8 to 10 yards would help here, because you could punt Buffalo into the hole, punt them inside their 5-yard line.
Marino goes deep, and it's knocked away from Duper at the 10-yard line. Had it for a moment. Nate Odoms on the coverage for Buffalo. Good play. Duper had his hands on it.
Odoms playing deep enough that he can make a play on the ball. Dan looks to his right, then back to his left. Just not enough trajectory on the ball. It just wasn't quite high enough, giving Odoms a chance to recover.
And to punt, Reggie Roby, a low snap. Al Edwards at the other end, and he's just going to let it bounce, and it'll bounce in the end zone for the touchback.
Now that punt, Dick, was not what Don Shula and the staff wanted. Reggie's got one of the greatest legs ever as a punter, but you've got to do better than that than kicking right down the middle into the end zone.
I guess it's a chance to run down all the scores. You'll see the highlights at halftime. New Orleans 27-24. Dave Craig, Seattle quarterback, broken thumb. Kansas City wins, doesn't allow a touchdown. And they're rolling through these so you can read them yourself here. 16-13, the Jets, an opening day winner. Late games, Pittsburgh now in front.
Those Raiders.
16-0 Houston.
Hate to be on that plane going home from there.
Yeah, not halftime yet. Denver now a 2-touchdown lead, and Phoenix the same at Los Angeles. Almost fumbled right into the arms of the Miami defense as Oliver makes the tackle on Andre Reed.
Oh, I'm impressed with Oliver in this ball game. We talked about it before, the fact that he was just in the wrong style of coverage the last time they played, and now being a deep safety man, he can come up and make those hits at 225 pounds. He's as big a hitter as there is in the game, much like Fulcher of Cincinnati.
And the fastest defensive back, he runs a 4.37. Kelly goes deep to Reed. Right through his fingers, and you won't see Andre Reed drop many like that. Splitting the two safeties. Reed deceptively fast, and even more so his leg strength. He works, he runs backwards, he really develops his leg strength and power with weights and running in the offseason. He's very proud of that.
A beautiful throw. Right over the shoulder, and I'm just talking about how Oliver's playing, and he let Reed get in behind him.
3rd down and 5. Underneath the Beebe. He's tackled forward. It's going to be close to a first down, and a flag is down.
I think there was blocking before the ball was caught down the field. That play they'd run once before. They actually set up their blocks and then throw and catch the ball. Yep, there it is.
Kent Hull, the center, was about 15 yards downfield, but the pass was behind the line of scrimmage. Johnny Greer in the white hat is sorted out.
Very interesting play. They'll set up offensive people in front of the defenders. Then when the ball's caught.
Pass interference. 83. Offense. Still 3rd down.
So Reed was set up to block, and then when the ball's caught, he's supposed to block. That time he was a little early. Very interesting play.
That brings up 3rd and 15. Each side with 3 penalties. And Reed still mumbling to himself, I'm sure, about a touchdown that got away. He already has one 54 yards on a brilliant run after a short catch, and that one wide open, streaking down the middle, and the ball laid right in his midst. Full run. He had his second score, but was unable to pull it in.
Well, the Miami defense is sort of, in a sense, holding their opponent off. They're not really stopping them, but just playing for the breaks, playing for the big hit. And thus far, it's been reasonably effective.
Number 12, Jim Kelly, wears 12 because Terry Bradshaw, growing up in the Pittsburgh area, he was a Steeler fan and wanted to wear what his idol wore. And of course, that's true of Thurman Thomas as well. His 34, inspired by Earl Campbell's 34, growing up in the Houston suburb. 3rd and 15. Kelly gets a second chance and finds his man along the sidelines, and a first down to James Lofton.
Kelly had at least 5 seconds to throw that ball. There was absolutely no pass rush. I can't recall seeing a quarterback hold the ball so long and finally throwing the ball for a 20-yard gain.
I'm Don Shula. Throughout my 38 years in the National Football League, the one person who was always at my side was my wife, Dorothy. But in 1986, Dorothy noticed a lump in her breast. We prayed that it wasn't cancer. but the diagnosis confirmed our darkest fear. The doctors did everything that they could, and Dorothy never stopped fighting. For 6 years she held on, and we held on to each other. But on February 25th, 1991, she was gone. I've learned that with faith and love, I will never really lose her. She's still with me in the tough times when I need her the most. And I know that she wouldn't want me to give up the fight that she couldn't win. That's why I want to ask for your support of the United Way and all the United Way agencies that provide service to cancer patients and their families. I believe that with love, faith, and commitment, we can all be the real winners in life, because the United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Don Shula, the only man to send his team to 6 Super Bowls, the only coach that run through a perfect season, 17-0 in that 1972 team. The Dolphins, sunken, greasy, great Manny Fernandez, Bonaconte.
You know, he's gone from a heavily emphasized running game to a heavily emphasized passing game. He's the only coach that I know of that's been able to make that total transition from one to the other related to his material. The Zonka kick, Morris running, and now the Marino passing.
Former defensive back for 7 years in the NFL was Shula, and they asked him after Marino signed for whatever, $20 million, says Will McDonough, and all the publicity out of Miami is $25 million. And Don said, I never made as much as $10,000 a season. And Marino, it's interesting, his dad, I asked him, still drives a truck in Pittsburgh for the newspaper, the Gazette newspaper, delivers papers to the coin machines. So his dad is picking up quarters, and his son is picking up $100,000 a game or more. First down for Kelly, 2 minutes to go. He unloads a long one. And Beebe unable to get there. Well covered by the Dolphins. Is Paul Langford, 5th defensive back there, former world-class hurdler.
Well, it took that kind of speed because Beebe is super quick. He's like a 4.340 coming off a broken leg. A key guy, not that many catches, but critical catches. He's got the kind of speed they want him one-on-one with anybody, and they try to go by him.
Kelly 14 for 18 underneath to Reed. He loves those patterns, tries to break a tackle, not this time. Lewis Oliver up from the secondary, help out John Offerdahl.
The tactics were good there. The zone defense just waiting for Reed to come across the field to the defenders. Now, if that was man-to-man, they'd have been in deep trouble.
Bills with 3 timeouts left. Reed tackled immediately. Has another catch, and the tackle by Vesti Jackson, former Washington star, and drafted 2nd round by the Bears 5 years ago, and picked up on the trade for Eric Kumaro. 3rd down and 4, and timeout called by the Bills with 1:05 remaining. Nope, they let the clock go as now it turns over 4th down. They came up shy of the 1st down by 2 yards. And Kelly unable to drive his team for the first time today, and Chris Moore, who led the World League of American Football with a 42.7 average for the Montreal Machine to win this chance. He replaced Rick Tootin as the Bills punter. His first NFL kick. A dying spiral. It takes a Miami bounce and still rolling, and it could have been picked up and run. Actually, there was a chance for a touchdown.
Right. Until that whistle blows, that ball's live. Even if Buffalo touches it, it's not dead until the whistle blows.
Had a Miami player been chasing that and picked it up, he could have gone on. But finally down by Taylor, Brian Taylor, the son of Rosie Taylor on the special teams, who was the surprise to make this Buffalo club, and running back at Oregon State. All that great heritage. Rosie Taylor, 14 years in the league. He finally tried defense and made the club. A great story.
Now, with Dick, 1 timeout left. If Marino can get a 20-yard catch in here, he's going to have a chance to get in field goal range. Just one big catch down the field. Out of bounds.
Well, Clayton unable to catch the ball in a territory where he just didn't know quite what to do.
Well, I'm sure they're fortunate he dropped the ball. That would have ended the half.
Next Saturday, NBC begins its coverage of Notre Dame football. It'll be the Hoosiers of Indiana, the Irish of Notre Dame, 1 o'clock. Notre Dame Saturday begins with Gail Gardner and Ahmad Rashad. Bill and I and John Dockery with the call as Indiana meets Notre Dame. They hadn't played since 1958. Hoosiers have a good one in Vaughn Dunbar, a brilliant running back. 20 seconds left in the half. 14-7 Miami. And for the second time today, Marino is sacked, and this time it is Jeff Wright. He had 5 sacks from that nose tackle position last year.
Marino had to move way up inside before he threw the ball. He walked right into Jeff. Jeff was right there, and Marino had to go right up to him, and Jeff then came right off. You see Marino moving up inside, and there's the stop.
So the time runs out the end of the half. Buffalo had a pass intercepted in the end zone by Miami. Buffalo misses a 25-yard field goal, and the reliable Andre Reed drops a sure 75-yard touchdown pass late in this first half. So Don Shula's Dolphins lead the field, surprisingly, with a 14-7 lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
1979, tripped over a camera cable, 4 stitches.
Oh, well, 1982, tripped over a sleeping Teamster, 5 stitches.
Feel this, 1977, bumped into a boom mic, sucker hasn't gone down yet.
1977, actress bit me.
James Garner and Man of the People, Robert Guillaume and Pacific Station, Sundays this fall on NBC.
It's your Chrysler Plymouth dealer's big year-end clearance. You want a great deal, right? Yeah! Peterson, check out that acclaim. Hurry in and get that $1,500 cash back. Hey, Bakers, look at Grand Voyager. Over $2,000 in savings. Your name's all over it. Hey, Louis, you see that Sundance America?
And just announced, now get $1,200 cash back.
Hurry in and take advantage of year-end clearance deal. Rediscover all the great American values at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Yeah!
What can happen when you have the strength of a $30 billion financial group behind your local North Star Bank? That's up to you.
Hi, this is Steve Tasker with the Buffalo Bills. Please join our MDA Jerry Lewis Telethon after today's game.
Halftime in Buffalo. Miami 14, the Bills 7. Now to New York and NFL Live.
We are at halftime. Welcome back to our New York studios. Marv Albert with Will McDonough and Bill Parcells in the AFC's big game of the day at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Miami in front of Buffalo by the score of 14-7 at halftime. Don Shula going for career win number 299, trying to snap a 5-game losing streak at Rich Stadium. How about this? The flea flicker. Mark Hibb pitching it back to Dan Marino, underthrowing it, but Clayton coming back to make the catch, beating the fallen defender Kirby Jackson for a 43-yard score, 7-0 Miami. Now second quarter, Kelly looking for a receiver in the end zone, intercepted by Lewis Oliver, and he returns to the Miami 35-yard line. Later on, second quarter, first and goal on the Buffalo 3, and Higgs jumping over into the end zone for the 3-yard touchdown. A lot of folks probably surprised about this halftime score. It was thought to be a blowout for Buffalo over Miami, and Dan Marino had the bad preseason.
Well, they've got good balance this time. Higgs 80 yards rushing. I don't think anyone expected that without Sammy Smith. But it's not the running game so much. It's Coach Shula's elected to go right at Buffalo. They've got good speed on defense, but you go right at them, they're not quite physical enough.
And that's something you can certainly relate to as a man who went right at Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Well, we certainly tried to, but, you know, they're doing a good job with not a power back.
Any surprise to you?
Well, no. Very surprising, because I thought Buffalo was going to kill them. Okay, but here's what I think we're starting to see with Buffalo a little bit. If you go back to the end of last year and right now, if you get out in front of them, okay, and you can run the ball, you can dictate what happens, okay? If you get away from, you get behind them, like they jump on everybody, like they did with the Raiders, right? All they have to do is play pass defense because, you know, they're so far ahead. When you get them to play against the run, you can keep in the ball game with them, and you have a chance to beat them.
All right, let's get back to the scoreboard. A rundown starting with the game at the Astrodome. Houston leading the L.A. Raiders 16-7 in the second quarter. Also in the second, now we're told halftime at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's Chicago 7, Minnesota 3. Harbaugh and a 37-yard touchdown pass to Waddle for the Chicago lead. In Denver, John Elway has thrown 3 touchdowns, and Denver over Cincinnati 28-7 at the half. Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Halftime, it is Pittsburgh over San Diego by the score of 10-3. Out in Anaheim in the second quarter now, Phoenix 4-0, big surprise in preseason, off to the fast start, and they are leading the LA Rams by the score of 21-7. That is in the second quarter. At the Hoosier Dome in the second, New England in front of Indianapolis by the count of 10-7. Final scores in the early games, New Orleans knocks off Seattle 27-24. In that game, Seattle quarterback Dave Craig suffered a broken thumb. The early word is he could be out 8 weeks. Last-second field goal missed by the rookie John Casey from 37 yards away. At Arrowhead in Kansas City, it was Kansas City over Atlanta by the score 14-3. Falcons with 6 turnovers. Chris Miller intercepted 4 times. In Green Bay, Philadelphia defeats Green Bay 20-3 behind Jim McMahon, who took over for the injured Randall Cunningham, who suffered left knee ligaments. A tear of the left knee, took a hard hit, and it's possible he could be out for the season. Bill, obviously a devastating blow to the Eagles.
I think devastation is the exact word, Marv. I think Cunningham probably means more to the Eagles than any other single player in the league means to any other team. I think without him, they've got a tremendous adjustment to make, and I don't think they can do it.
And McMahon went 17 for 25, 257 yards. Dallas knocked off Cleveland by the score of 26-14. Troy Aikman threw 2 touchdowns, 4 field goals for Ken Willis of Dallas. And the Jets on a Pat Leahy field goal defeating Tampa Bay 16-3. 3 field goals for Leahy. Now, when we return, we'll be joined by Bill Walsh as we preview tomorrow night's big one at the Meadowlands between the 49ers and the Giants. That's right after these words from your local station.
Mark and Brian.
Watch our show, we'll give you a treat.
We can't say that.
Why? Well, it's not true. Besides, I think we need to go for the emotion. You want a puppy? It's fixed.
Stick happens.
Look at this. These guys will do anything to get on TV.
We'll come over and mow your lawn. We'll clean out your downspout. We'll snake your toilet. What?
Hey, how's Anna Karenina doing? Fine, fine. She had her spine replaced yesterday. How's David Copperfield? Oh, he's the picture of health. They just took out his appendix. Yo, how's that textbook case doing?
Oh, he's better. They removed a colon.
We've decided to recover our book, the 9X Yellow Pages. If it's out there, it's in here.
Hi, I'm Andre Reed of the Buffalo Bills. Please watch the Jerry Lewis MDA Telethon later today after the game.
Welcome back to our NFL Live studio. Now, the most anticipated game of this opening weekend will take place at Giant Stadium in the New Jersey Meadowlands tomorrow night. A matchup of the defending Super Bowl champion Giants and the San Francisco 49ers, a rivalry that has developed into the most compelling in the NFL. Monday night, 1986, the Giants rallied from a 17-0 halftime deficit to defeat the 49ers 21-17 in what Joe Montana called one of his most disappointing defeats. Later that season, in the Meadowlands, the Giants destroyed the Niners 49-3 en route to a victory in Super Bowl 21. The game remembered for the brutal hit by Jim Burt delivered to Montana. A lighter side to this rivalry occurred during the strike of '87, where the 49ers tried everything, even the wishbone, which Bill Parcells found amusing, while Bill Walsh could only think, what can I do? The combination in 1988 was Montana to Jerry Rice, which the Giants discovered early that season. Montana hit Rice with a 78-yard game-winning touchdown with under a minute remaining. Montana had one of his best games against the Giants in a Monday night contest in '89 when he threw for 3 TDs. Last season saw one of the most physical meetings of this rivalry, which the Niners won 7-3. This defensive matchup also had its share of tension afterwards. In their last get-together, with the Niners leading late in the fourth quarter, Leonard Marshall nailed Montana from the blind side, knocking him out of the game. But the key turning point was this Roger Craig fumble in the final minutes. And the fumble led to Matt Barr hitting a 42-yard game-winning field goal. And from Buffalo, we are joined by the former head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Bill Walsh. Now, Bill, for the first time in 10 years, Joe Montana will not be the starting quarterback for your old ball club. Steve Young will be there. How will the players respond to Steve Young as the #1 guy?
I don't see a problem at all. Much like any professional teams, the athletes themselves are worried more about their performance and leaving the quarterback backing up to, in this case, Steve Young. And Steve's played very well. He's won games. He's beaten teams like Minnesota and the Bears and others. So I think they have full confidence in Steve. The problem, Marv, is Steve has not played that well in the Meadowlands. He had just an average performance in 1988. Montana had to come in and win the game for him. So I'm worried about Steve's poise early stage of the game.
Now, Bill, in the past, you have assigned what has been labeled a spy to the scrambling Steve Young. Do you look for the Giants to do the same tomorrow night?
I don't know they'll do it full-time, Marv, but they'll have it in the game plan. On that spy thing now, what they'll try to do is flush him out of the pocket and get him running sideways, and then hopefully have a guy with enough speed chasing him to keep him running laterally while the rest of the pursuit gets there.
Bill Walsh, in the past, both Giants and 49er players have charged that there has been some dirty football played when these two clubs have met. How do you react to that?
I don't think so. Both teams are class organizations, and they have great professionals and great professional athletes. I don't see a problem there. Some of the techniques in blocking and in defense are right on the edge, but that's what it takes to be a champion.
What about you, Bill? I know there have been accusations in this very studio after we've been hanging around with you made regarding some dirty-type tactics.
Well, I basically agree with Bill, but there have been some inferences, I think, around the league. The San Francisco, the chop block, and the technique they use. But I think people have learned to live with it, and I don't think there's any intentional dirty play on the part of either team.
All right, Bill, thank you very much.
Marv, just 1 minute. I'm really proud of Bill Parcells, and none of those four-letter words, they would be tacky in a studio like that.
On that note, we'll say that NFL Live halftime activities will continue in a moment.
And we welcome you back to Rich Stadium in Buffalo on a beautiful football Sunday. Miami Dolphins leading the Buffalo Bills 14-7. A lot had to go right for Miami as they were outgained in the first half. As you look at the Coors Light statistics of the first half, passing yardage to the Bills 172-97, total yardage 244 to 177. One big turnover. That was a Kelly pass intercepted in the Miami end zone. The first touchdown of the game came off the creativity of Miami using the flea flicker pass that your 49.
I could never make it work. We'd pitch it back too high or lose track of the receiver, but Don's team executed it beautifully. Don said he was thinking of something all the way into this morning, and I'm sure he came up with that. They'd practiced it a lot, but it came at just the right time.
Good call on opening day, isn't it?
And he'd been running the ball effectively. I think that's the key. And so that Buffalo defense jammed in there to stop that run. Then it's pitched back. Marino has just enough time, and now Marino looks left and then looks right. Looks like that's an alternative receiver to Clayton on the right. Now, once you get out of position, as Kirby Jackson was, because he was fooled early, he's trying to catch up with Clayton, and he gets there, but he loses track of the ball.
And Mark Clayton, we talked with him yesterday. He was concerned that maybe his career was over. He had a serious neck injury, didn't know if this season would be part of his career. That was his 67th catch or 67th touchdown, and that gives him second all time. He's only 7 behind Nat Moore for the Miami career record. And he had 2 big catches today, 65 yards.
Well, between Clayton and Duper, they're going to have to make the plays. Edmonds is not with the team yet. He'll be there next week. And, of course, he's an excellent outlet receiver, a Pro Bowl player as a tight end, fine blocker, fine receiver. But today they just have their 2 veterans on the outside. They're going to have to make plays in this second half.
J.B. Brown also signed along with Farrell Edmonds this week, but Don Shula felt with so little practice time better to leave them home and work out, so they're not with the club. We'll join them against Colts next week down in Miami. Don Shula and his Dolphins will get the ball first here in the second half. 14-7 lead, the touchdowns. Marino to Clayton on the flea flicker, 43 yards. And then Mark Higgs, who had a big first half running the football, the little tailback from Kentucky, over the top 3 yards to make it 14-0. And then Jim Kelly to his favorite target, Andre Reed, 54 yards. A fine run by Reed after the catch. And Reed had a sure 75-yard touchdown right through his fingertips in the open behind the Miami defense late in the first half, or we'd have a tie score.
And you know, Dick, another feature of this, Miami has held the ball reasonably well, consuming time, but also they've forced the Bills into poor field position, making them drive the length of the field to score. And in 2 occasions, something's finally gone wrong.
We saw the success of the Bills covering kickoffs. You really get it out past the 20. Norwood very short. Ball's going to come down to Tony Page at the 25, and he returns at 4 yards.
Oh, that was, Dick, that was a job by Tony Page, because that's a danger zone. When that ball dropping in there, it's a free ball, and he had all that traffic. And this guy's really a leader, isn't he? He blocks, he catches. You could see him smiling. He knew he was in little trouble catching that thing.
He's the former roommate of Bruce Smith at Virginia Tech. 2 pretty good players. They'd hoped to meet each other today, but Smith, with his injury, sideline, not in uniform. So Marino and Miami from the 29 as we open the second half. And it's Higgs picking his way for 2 or 3.
Well, it looks like Buffalo just is geared up coming out of that tunnel at halftime. They know they haven't played physically like they should on defense. They just haven't played that physically, and they're going to have to take on the blockers more aggressively and stop them, because thus far they've been driven back and turned.
Carlton Bailey started inside for Buffalo. You see number 50, Ray Bentley, Central Michigan, now playing that run support position along with Shane Conley.
They've got their best run defenders on the field.
Second down and 7 for Marino. A quickie is complete to Clayton. He breaks into the clear for a moment, and he's now to the Buffalo 31-yard line. Mark Clayton.
Oh, boy, that was a beautiful shot between defenders, and Clayton's concentration to see that ball all the way in, because the receiver's always concerned. You see him get inside of Odoms, but now he's worried about where Kelso is and where Leonard Smith are, the safeties. And he does a beautiful job of splitting them and going right up the field. But typically that slant play, that receiver is concerned about those safeties meeting him as he catches the ball. Now that's a veteran football player.
Oh, and Jeff Wright, the valuable nose tackle of the Buffalo Bills, in agony down back where Marino threw that football. Wright, who said that he was going to try to use his quickness to beat the inexperienced center, Bert Widener, today.
And he gets great penetration. Look at this. He loses track, caught falling over Ellenbach.
Immediately grabbing that left knee. We have a timeout here in Buffalo. Just a minute into the second half. The injured man, Jeff Wright.
A car is a car, and its sole reason for existence is to get you from point A to point B and back again. It won't make you handsome, or prettier, or younger, and if it improves your standing with the neighbors, then you live among snobs with distorted values. A car is steel, electronics, rubber, plastic, and glass. A machine. And in choosing one, the question should be, how long will it last? How well will it do the job? Could I get a comparable one for less? And do I like the way this machine feels and looks? And in the end, with an absence of marketing glamour about the automobile, may the best machine win. Subaru, what to drive.
Because if you don't watch your figure, who will?
It's the right beer now.
Because when it comes to water, the only place to start is at the top.
It's the right beer now.
Because when the party's going full steam, you don't want to fill up. So reach for the beer that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet.
Coors Light, it's the right beer now.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Subaru. It's what to drive. By cold filtered Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By durable weather beater paint, only at Sears, the home of America's craftsmen. And by Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Back with the action after that 36-yard pass play, and it's Marino handing off to Higgs for a couple. Leon Seals with a tackle, and the injury on Jeff Wright as he was helped off the field, and it appeared to be serious the way he was wearing paint on his face. This bright young player. We met his father yesterday. He drove up from Kansas. He
comes to the first game every year. Here's a guy that has come up the hard way in a sense. Not recruited in high school, transferred from Tulsa, Central Missouri, finally played, and of course, let's hope he's back soon.
That's Higgs breaking tackles at the 20, and the little man is to the 12-yard line before Mark Kelso, the free safety, can make the tackle. And Miami driving again. He grabbed that back of the left knee immediately.
You know, it's Dick, so often when linemen get a knee injury, it's from someone they don't expect. Not necessarily somebody blocking them, but it's falling over somebody or getting their foot caught underneath someone else. It's rarely the cut block or something like that. It's generally somebody on their own team that they fall into.
How about Mark Higgs, 103 yards rushing and only 67 all last year. He gets another chance. Again, running to the left, he picks up about 5 before Shane Conlon can make the stop.
Tony Page just took Darryl Talley down, just cut him down. Beautiful block, and whenever this guy's playing, Page is playing, of course the running game picks up. Naturally, it means that they have 2 running backs in the play, but now you see the play cutting right down. That's a beautiful picture shot with that left arm just catching the ankle, that left hand. That's the technique to use.
Leading 14-7. Marino has the Dolphins outside the Buffalo 6-yard line. Early third quarter. Higgs, hit hard just at the 5-yard line. Good lateral pursuit by the Buffalo Bills, and it was Talley, one of those in on that tackle, along with Bentley.
Typically, Marino throws a play pass at this spot on the field, inside the 5-yard line, 2nd or 3rd down, fake the run, and then get a crossing tight end or a crossing flanker. And typically, he's done that.
And Shula sending in a suggestion, and then the play sent in by Jim Jensen. By the way, Scott Mitchell is the backup quarterback in uniform. Scott Secules is the 3rd quarterback, used only in an emergency. There's Mitchell. 3rd down, 2. Marino, there's that play action incomplete as he was pressured by Cornelius Bennett. Bennett charging through gave Marino no time to find an open receiver.
Bennett is so quick. And this is the great asset he has coming into the NFL. He's there before Marino's ready for him. Now, they're not going to block Bennett, but Dan, I think, assumed he could get the ball off just before Bennett got there. He's just so quick.
Charlie Bauman tries his first field goal for Miami. Stoyanovich still unsigned. Bauman was 6 for 7 in the preseason. His long was 48 yards. It's a 21-yard attempt out of the hold of Scott Mitchell. And Bauman has his first NFL score, and Miami ups its lead to 17-7. 11 minutes left in the third.
Appreciation of the finer things, like these A&W root beer and cream soda floats that sets us apart from the common beast.
There goes that theory. A&W root beer and cream soda floats. Two great tastes made even greater.
T2. If you thought you'd seen it all, see it again. I insist. The biggest movie of the summer is T2. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
Witness the unmatched drama and emotion of a great golf tradition as Payne Stewart and Paul Azinger lead America against Europe's best, the Ryder Cup, later this month on NBC.
Back in Buffalo, where the Dolphins lead 17-7, and let's get our breath right now because Kelly's coming on the field with that no-huddle offense again.
Well, they've been moving the ball, and they just miscued enough. What an opportunistic game by Don Shula and his team. They played over their heads with intensity, but the play calling's been as good as you can get.
If you were still coaching, would you be using the no-huddle?
I'd be using the no-huddle, no question about it, especially if I'm as talented as the Buffalo Bills with Kelly, that offensive line, those receivers. It's just been miscues, and that's been the problem so far today, and they're going to have to make up some ground now, because what's occurred is Miami has moved the ball as Buffalo didn't expect, and that's taken the timetable away from the Bills.
And the Bills now shortchanged defensively with Bruce Smith not in uniform. Starting nose tackle Jeff Wright out with a knee injury. Bauman's kick spins down to Fuller, has trouble, so it's Edwards picking it up at the 8. And Al Edwards gets to almost the 20-yard line. Jim Kelly comes on the field. And with it, the Bills will bring that hurry-up offense. Bills, that's the hair design of Leonard Smith, certainly in full spirit as this season begins.
Well, he's committed to the Bills, no question about that.
Well, they've drafted a man at his spot. Henry Jones, a rookie of Illinois, just signed their #1 pick that they're going to groom as his replacement, apparently. On the ground, Thurman Thomas. And Thomas plows for 5. And that gives him 61 on the day.
Thus far, the Dolphins have forced the Bills to start around their 20-yard line in each possession. So being forced to drive 80 yards, there's always something that can go wrong. Just an excellent job of defense.
Thomas, who showed his brilliance to the world in the Super Bowl, although in defeat didn't get the most valuable player award, although many felt he deserved it. But losing teams usually are not so credited. David Griggs and Louis Oliver lead that defensive charge. Jeff Wright obviously out for the rest of the day, and we hope for him that unspecified knee injury is not as serious as I'm sure he fears at this moment.
Well, they'll stop now and huddle on 3rd down and about a yard. It gives Miami a chance to do their substituting. But this is all taking time, and they're getting it the slow way, grinding it out. And the problem is, for Buffalo, Miami is moving the ball themselves. Come on, man.
Gardner the fullback, but it's Thomas the tailback. And he has the first down and more. Still at the 40, cutting back, only one man to beat, and he's down at the 48-yard line. Louis Oliver finally got him around the ankles. 19 more for Thurman Thomas.
He comes in so low with his knees high, you can't get a piece of it. 200 pounds, but he runs with power. John Orfordall, talking before the game, says when he needs power, he has it. When he needs quick feet, he has it. He does everything.
Finished 7th in the Heisman, balloting his senior year. There was a sophomore waiting to replace him, Barry Sanders of Oklahoma State. He won the Heisman, and now they're the 2 most recognized running backs in the league. Beebe has makes the catch for Buffalo at the Miami 42, a first down in front of Michael Scooter Magruder. And now Cornelius Bennett, they're just stretching him. We understand that Keith McKellar, the starting tight end for Buffalo, he will not return today after suffering a back contusion. So Pete Metzelar's 88 is playing his position. Beebe wide open at the 34. Magruder finally twists him out of bounds.
Magruder has to give Beebe room because he's very, very quick, very fast. Magruder doesn't have that kind of experience. He's new at the corner position, so they're just one-on-one. And before the game, Jim Kelly warming up today. Just happened to visit with him for a few moments. Says if Beebe's one-on-one, he's going to get the ball.
Beebe on Magruder again as Kelly throws wide of Lofton, who was open to the outside. Paul Langford had taken away the inside.
This Buffalo team, if you look at the experience of their offensive line, Wolford 6 years, Richard 12 years, Hull 6, Davis 5, Ballard 4. They've got the maturity and the talent they need. They're just right, the right spot to go to the championship again.
Out of the backfield, no one covered Thurman Thomas, and he has a first down at the 21. Good read by Kelly.
Somebody blew a coverage. There wasn't anybody near it.
5 catches, 39 yards for Thomas, plus 84 yards rushing. He's having another big day as he goes for that yardage, number 1 in the NFL once again from scrimmage. First down, Kelly. Overshoots Thomas, and that'll give us a chance to talk about Thurman Thomas. You know, athletes aren't exactly renowned for giving back and getting back down into their pockets to return. And here's Thomas. He's only 25 years old, and he's committed himself to giving back to Oklahoma State a $125,000 scholarship. It's his thank you to education and to his university, and we applaud that kind of spirit. Kelly in trouble and just throws it away and found an open spot, and there's no flag down. As Kelly now,
There's the ankle.
As he was tackled, Kelly rolls up on the ankle. T.J. Turner, injured earlier for Miami, was the man who made the hit. And that seemed inevitable, didn't it?
It did. He can't avoid, you see. He's limping before he's even hit. And now nothing really happens as he falls. The ankle was twisted more likely before the contact was made. And he's just on those very painful sprained ankle. And the pain's going to be there. There isn't any way to avoid it. My guess is he'll have to sit on the sideline for a while and then be back in the game. That's a painful injury.
It's been a tough, tough day for Buffalo.
If your sporty car doesn't feel so sporty anymore, you need a change. By the team, the B.F. Goodrich Tire Team. They'll put on B.F. Goodrich TA Performance tires. Tires designed just for your sporty car. It's a whole new level of performance. Feel the difference. See your B.F. Goodrich Tire Team if they don't see you first.
A car is a car. It won't make you handsome or prettier or younger, and if it improves your standing with the neighbors, then you live among snobs. A car is steel, electronics, rubber, plastic, and glass. A machine. And in the end, may the best machine win. Subaru. What to drive.
And Erie updates.
The cornfield behind my house is the #1 landing site for UFOs in the Northern Hemisphere. We got pictures.
Erie, Indiana.
Nearing the midpoint of the third period, Miami leading 17-7, and Jim Kelly helped to his feet and limping off on that tender left ankle injured earlier in the preseason. He told us he thought for sure he heard a pop, that it was broken, and was blessed and pleased that it was just a serious sprain. They love him here in Buffalo. He's replaced by Frank Reich. Of course, Kelly injuring his knee at the end of last year, and Reich carried his team in the late season. Let's see how it happened.
He just can't avoid left. You see, he's limping there. I think he turned it before he fell. It looks as though he turned it before he fell.
Because the tackle, he didn't land on it. No. It wasn't hit.
Here's Reich, and Reich's a good one.
He goes for a touchdown, and it's Lofton who gets it at the 5-yard line and covered by Magruder. So Frank Reich from Maryland, who has bailed out Buffalo before, off the bench for the injured Kelly. It's 1st and goal.
That was an excellent shot, and he's going to come right in and no huddle. They're not going to skip a beat with Reich. And Lofton ran that deep end that he's so famous for. He takes people back, plants, and the ball's thrown. Beautiful job.
Thomas, the only running back. And it is Thurman Thomas. Inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal for the Bills. Kelly walking on that ankle.
Well, if Reich can do the job, it's best for Jim Kelly to sit this one out.
On a bum ankle. Look at 19 for 26, 200 yards. The one interception was in the end zone. He moved his team well. Maybe he's almost too tough for his own good. He does have a linebacker intellect, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he can't take that shoe off either. That thing will balloon right up if the shoe comes off. So you got to keep it constricted so it doesn't swell.
So without Keith McKellar, the Bills use Glenn Parker as a tight end. He's eligible, number 74. On that left side, and timeout called by Reich. So Marv Levy and Reich don't like what they have called and what they see. There's Levy.
Well, Gail Gilbert sending in the signals, and there could have been a... Now, Gilbert's suddenly sending the signals in, and that's where a miscue can happen. He hasn't done that before, and if he gives a poor signal, Gilbert can go in only if the other two are injured.
And then they can't come back. The other two cannot come back once that third...
Now he's given the job of calling the signals. If he makes a mistake, being new to the club, then Reich makes a mistake, and Reich spotted it.
And in this case, if Kelly is up to it, they might even, with that bad ankle, ask Kelly to come back and serve in that role.
I would think he will once he walks it off.
That's what he did when he was injured last year. Of course, he had the...
In fact, that's what they did in the old days, Dick, when we played. Walk it off. No trainer, no tape. Yeah. Walk it off.
Rub a little dirt on it.
And don't drink no water in the meantime. Don't have a cup of water, you'll get the cramps.
Well, next Sunday, our coverage of the NFL on NBC brings you an exciting doubleheader beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time. And we'll give you the lineup of games after this play. 2nd and goal, Reich. And the Bills trailing 17-7. Thurman Thomas fakes, and wide open is Butch Roll. 9 touchdowns in the last 9 catches. That's an amazing run for the former Michigan State player. He's had only now 13 catches in his career. 9 for touchdown, the last 9.
I assume they're all right on that goal line. Thomas goes over the top. You see him? And he held people just long enough for Roll to release from the line of scrimmage, and nobody spotted it.
Try for point by Norwood. Out of Reich's hold, it's 17-14 Miami. 12-play drive, 80 yards. Kelly and Reich share, and it's a 3-point game.
Inside your smooth-running engine is a torture chamber. And under these grueling conditions, only one leading motor oil meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown. Castrol, the only leading motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol. After all, why make things tougher on your engine? Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Right now, every gallon of paint is on sale at Sears. Every interior, every exterior. Save 10 to 33% on Weather Beater, Easy Living, Dutch Boy, Olympic Stain, and more. But hurry, sale ends Labor Day at Sears.
The Steelers battle the Bills. The Chargers take on the 49ers. An NBC football doubleheader next Sunday.
So the Bills pull within 3, 17-14, 6:47 left in the third period. Let's look at Frank Reich as he delivered that touchdown pass to Roll.
Ball's in the air. Theoretically, when you throw the ball, you can't get hit once it's been thrown, but I'm not sure the referees are paying a lot of attention to that in this day and age. But that was good poise, and Reich, most teams now have a good backup, Dick. A guy like Reich can play, he could be a starter anywhere, and when he comes in the game, he's fully prepared.
Norwood to kick into the wind. Very high and short to the rookie, Craver. He is smothered at the 23-yard line by Mark Pike. Word from the Buffalo bench is that Jim Kelly will not return today. Although, look at him.
There he goes.
He's got a ball in his hand. He'd play on both ankles were injured. He just, well, he was recruited by Joe Paterno at Penn State as a linebacker. Paterno told Marv Levy this summer, he said, tell Kelly, I still think he'd
be a better linebacker. Oh, he's tough and he's a great athlete.
Apparently, a problem before the ball was kicked. There was a whistle, and they're going to re-kick it. And that'll give us a chance to look at the late scores. The Steelers at home looking for a win. Raiders having trouble at Houston, and Chicago has the Vikings by 1 in the third. Cincinnati trailing by 2 touchdowns at Denver. Elway with a couple of touchdowns and a run. Phoenix 21-14. Rams close ground there in the third. And it's New England leading Indianapolis in the Hoosier Dome 13-7. New England having that final outstanding game against the Giants in the preseason and perhaps building a little momentum off that.
Well, it's so easy to be deceived by preseason games. Think of the Dolphins. Dan Marino, his offensive unit had 1 touchdown in the equivalent of 2 games in preseason. He makes only 8 yards passing in preseason. He comes out today and he's letter perfect.
Difference in the game now, a field goal. And remember, Scott Norwood missed a 25-yarder in the first half early.
Well, Dan on the sideline with his coach, you know, they've got to make first downs at least when they get the ball back, because this crowd's into it, the Bills are into it, they've got momentum. The Dolphins have to control the ball. At least 2 good, solid first downs if they do have to punt.
6:47 left in the third period. Norwood's kick again to Craver at the 20. The former Fresno State runner is to the 30-yard line, and flags go in. Craver, who has knee problems, and they weren't sure he'd be able to play today, was brilliant at Fresno State, scored a touchdown, at least 1 in every game. There's the block in the back, illegal use of the hands. Mark Park made the tackle again for Buffalo, and Dan Marino will start much closer to his own goalposts. Now let's look ahead at the doubleheader to next week. Pittsburgh will be here in Buffalo, while the Colts go to Miami for the Dolphins opener. Cleveland, New England. Late games of the doubleheader. The Chargers up at Candlestick against the Niners. Denver will play in Los Angeles, and the Jets and Seattle in the Kingdom. Begins at 12:30. NFL Live. 21-yard line. Marino begins. 6:40 left in the third. Mark Higgs, the running back, over 100 yards already. And it's Higgs. Caught by an ankle, but squirts out to the 24-yard line. He has not much to hit at 5'7". He's very powerfully built in the legs. Cornelius Bennett made the tackle.
Bennett came from the far side of the field right into the hole. So what the Bills are doing now to protect that right side of their defense is Conlon and Bennett are ready to attack when the play goes away from them. Just attack over there to shut that thing down.
2nd and 5.5. Marino to Duper. Duper Some loose tackling by the Bills gets another 5 out to the 43-yard line. A 17-yard play. First down, Miami. Talley made the tackle.
Duper working on Nate Odoms, number 37. Odoms is an excellent coverage man, but he doesn't make very good plays on the ball. He's short and stocky, and he doesn't have the range to make a play. You see him attack, and he gives so much room to Duper on that play. So much room. He just doesn't make plays as the ball gets there.
Lots of hand tackling, arm tackling. Ball out to the 42 and a half. Marino in trouble. And throws incomplete to Higgs. It would have been a gain of about a yard as Higgs was right on the sidelines anyway. And someone didn't run the pattern that Marino wanted.
I think he wanted to go deep down the field. I think he wanted that, and he didn't get it. It was just totally covered, and nowhere to go with the ball, and then Marino, with his experience, just throws it away, basically.
96 Leon Seals was the man pressuring for Levy's Bills. Here's Dr. Sack, as he was called at Jackson State, following the likes of Coy Bacon and Ben McGee, Vernon Biggs, Robert Brazil, Jackson State defenders to the NFL. And he does get a quick start off the blocks. Biggs does, and Seals makes the tackle again out at the 46 of Miami, where it'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, you can see this thing changing momentum-wise. That Bill defense is starting to control the line of scrimmage, stay with the blocker a little bit longer. There isn't anywhere to run. Early in the game, there were big splits in the defense, where if you dart through like Higgs with his quickness, you can make yards, but now they're not there. I think Dan's got to go to the pass.
Shotgun with Jensen in, plus 4 wide receivers. Jensen in the slot right. Bills were offside. Free play for Marino. Incomplete to Jensen. But I believe the Dolphins will get 5 yards and another down. One of the blue jerseys in that front line, I believe it was Seals, lurching offside.
You know, anytime you see Jensen in the game, he's caught 200-plus passes, 210, let's say, as a receiver. 121 have been for first downs. So when he's in there on 3rd down, you've got to lock on that guy. He's big, he's strong, he can catch the ball in traffic, but it's so evident.
96 defense. Still 3rd down.
It's so evident, Jensen, so evident when he goes in. Now here's the movement just before the snap, right there. They want to get to Dan.
And so Seals caught, 5-yard penalty, takes it to the Buffalo 49, where it's 3rd down and 2. Interesting call as Marino goes back under center, 3rd and 2, and gives to Higgs. Hit in the backfield. What a play by Leonard Smith, the safety.
Typically, on 3rd and 2, you'd have a close flanker right next to the tight end to pick up a strong safety blitz. That time, Dan Marino ran a formation where that particular defense was not blockable. And so when Smith penetrated, there was nobody there to stop him. Typically, you have a man right next to that tight end to stop that kind of penetration. So you don't know where the mistake was made, but Dan should have seen that.
Strong-legged Reggie Roby. Well, that ball is high as the top row of the stadium, and the wind carrying it all the way into the end zone. Roby not happy with it, but actually the wind carried it another 15 yards. Let's go back to the play by 46 Leonard Smith on the run.
Now Leonard Smith is going to come from the top of the screen right here into the play. Typically, that man is in a tight position to block him. You see, no one's there, and there isn't any block made at all at to that spot, and so that cost a drive and conceivably a ball game, because now Buffalo's got the ball again with just a 3-point deficit.
Jim Kelly is back in. They just told us, the Buffalo bench, that he wouldn't play anymore today. So Kelly got a little more power than that. And he gives to his man, Thurman Thomas, who rips off 11 yards on 1st down before Louis Oliver can make the tackle.
I can't tell you, Dick, that Kelly should be in that ball game. I really can't. Wright can handle his offense. He did very nicely when he went in earlier. And Jim is limping. Now, one problem, one good hit, and he's in trouble again.
Out of the shotgun. Ooh, almost intercepted. intercepted as it was Vesty Jackson diving in front of Andre Reed.
This is a case where Kelly is so strong a personality that he even overrides his coaches. My guess is that the coaches would prefer he not be in there, but he tells them he's going in and they don't stop him.
Second down, draw to Thomas, and he has close to 5, and a flag goes down. Might be holding, at least thrown in that area. It is against the Bills. Thomas with 100 yards rushing today. And this, someone here in Buffalo, one of the writers said, one of the people around the world going to decide that he's not one of the best running backs, but just call him the best all-around back in the NFL. And well, you could make a pretty good argument for him.
You could. The versatility. Talking to the linebacker.
65 offense. Still second down.
Right guard John Davis with the call. Meanwhile, the defense getting ready for their next turn on the field with 3:18 left in the third, and Miami leading 17-14.
You see who they were talking to, Dick? Lodish. He plays on that spot where they've been running.
On second and long, down the middle. Ooh, almost intercepted Lofton, the intended receiver, and Jarvis Williams was looking at Lofton, not the ball. Might have had an interception.
And that's two passes that have been, in a sense, forced by Kelly. I don't know if you need the heroics from Buffalo at this point, from Jim Kelly. I'm not sure you need them.
Third and long. It is caught by Lofton, and Lofton has a first down near midfield. He seemed to be perfectly covered by Paul Langford, and Lofton with his height at 6'3" just went over the top and took it away.
Langford wanted the interception. You see him come back underneath for the ball, and Lofton, as you point out, Dick, at 6'3" and a great jumper, and with a lot of poise. Kelly actually throws sort of a pass that was forced in there, but Lofton makes a play on it.
On first down, it's Thomas, and he gets to the 50-yard line, and that's all.
You know, when James Lofton's in the game, he's going to run the deep end, which he's caught. He's going to run the go pattern down the sideline with his speed, and he's going to run that deep comeback. Those are the three things he's done his whole career, probably as well or better than anybody in the game.
Lofton, who in the off-season works out in track and actually races and jumps in Masters tournaments, and he long jumped 24/7 this past winter at 35 years of age. Kelly throws high, and Thomas is there. Thurman Thomas. Touchdown, Buffalo. So it's taken nearly 3/4, but Buffalo on that 50-yard play finally is in the lead.
Well, we spoke with Thomas yesterday at practice. He says they're putting me deep more often. I'm going to the corner. Well, he waited till just the right moment. He just didn't get the coverage on him. And down the field, and what great receiving skills. He just ran right to the ball. You cease to be amazed about Jim Kelly coming back in and doing these things. You really do. You think he's down and out, and he brings them back.
We just hope that he'll be able to come back week after week. If that courageous attitude might be denying him opportunity. Well, Don Shula's team had led 14-0, and now apparently has sacrificed the lead as, for some reason, they're reviewing whether or not Thomas made it, I guess, to the end zone.
Good pass protection. Thomas running into the corner and not getting the coverage that he should get. Now, he had Jarvis Williams trying to cover him as a safety man. Jarvis must have been up in tight, and there had to be a blitz on the play, Dick, because Williams just isn't anywhere near him. Oh, he touches it right there.
The play stands. Touchdown.
Oh, it looks like his foot hit the line, but so be it.
Well, there's Don Wedge. The man was injured. The official injured earlier. He had his eyes right on it. It was close, but obviously he was on the spot, didn't step out of bounds. Thomas has had another all-pro day as he's opened with 101 yards rushing and 86 more receiving. Norwood adds the extra point. Buffalo 21, Miami 17. Jim Kelly with 2 touchdown throws. That one for 50 yards. Earlier, Andre Reed for 54 yards.
We can get a good look at it. Thomas is going to go to the corner from here, and his receiver is going to come up underneath, and you're going to get coverage from a safety man right here trying to stop the play. There he breaks into the corner, and Williams just isn't prepared to cover him. He hasn't seen him run that pattern before. He's looking for a short pattern, and Thomas now shows the kind of speed he can even run away from a defensive back.
And as Kelly threw the ball, that ankle felt a lot better.
Look at that.
Well, there's no question about his wondrous heart and what that does for teammates when a quarterback plays that tough. Well, the Buffalo Bills in trouble in the first half. 14-0 down. Have come back to lead 21-17. And they've been led by Mr. Jim Kelly. As you look at the other scores, late scores.
That Denver team, Dan Reeves has brought that team back. Cincinnati, one of the favorites in their division. People expecting Denver to have a dismal year, they scored 35 points.
Well, this great rivalry, of course, they hate Miami and Buffalo because the old-timers remember the 70s when Miami won all 20 games in the 70s. But now it's Buffalo's turn, and they have beaten Miami 5 straight times here in Buffalo. Harvard's kick to Aaron Craver. He is hit hard at the 22-yard line. So from Buffalo for an update, let's go to New York and Marv Albert.
All right, Dick, in Denver, the Broncos, as you mentioned, have extended their lead. Boomer Esiason picked off for the 3rd time. Tyrone Braxton taking it 52 yards for the touchdown. Broncos now lead the Bengals 35-14 in the 3rd. Back to Dick and Bill.
By the way, Marv, Paul McGuire, your partner, is going to send you a get-well card. He knows that you're suffering without it. He hasn't lost his spirit since he knew.
No, it's not going to happen, Dick. They can't stay with that kind of thing. They're going to have to start throwing the ball every down because they know that when Buffalo gets it, they're going to move it from now on. Miami's got to throw. And Buffalo has zeroed in on those running plays.
In particular, Bennett. Just watching Higgs.
Yeah, he's coming from that far side. Nobody's blocking Bennett. Coming from over the tight end right back into the play.
1.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. 21-17 Buffalo. Marino dumps it off. And Henry makes his first NFL catch. Charles Henry, a free agent from Miami of Florida.
Dan was hit and hit hard. One of the few times you see the guy really take a shot.
He looked right at the man who should have been blocking him. Got
He's
about
in
7
pretty good
yards.
shape here. He holds the ball. Look at that. Move by Bennett. Bennett went right by him. He was going so fast.
Phil Hansen, the man making the hit, the rookie.
But that was all Bennett. Dan had to move away from Bennett, and there was Hansen standing there. Good speed by Hansen, but there's Bennett right by him.
3rd and 3. Incomplete to Jim Jensen, and Buffalo's going to get it right back, and these fans are on their feet in Buffalo. Reggie Roby comes in to punt for Miami. Well, he's got much more carpet to kick with now. He can really unload one, and with that powerful right leg of his, he's going to try to zoom one as deep as he can. Edwards back at the 25. Wind at the back of Roby. And he doesn't hit a good one. It's wobbly to the right. And touched by a Dolphin. And finally down. It'll be spotted for Buffalo around the 28-yard line.
Reggie Roby had 2 great punts into the end zone that probably traveled 70 yards. Now he's got a chance for that 70-yarder, and he's about a 40-yarder.
Reminder, our college football coverage begins next Saturday at Notre Dame, Indiana, as the Indiana Hoosiers meet the Irish in the opener for both clubs, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Notre Dame football, Gail Gardner, Ahmad Rashad will give you all the color of the pageantry plus all the scores of other games, and then Bill and I and John Dockery will be on the sidelines with the coverage. Kelly still at the controls to Thomas. And Thurman Thomas, whose goal is to get 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards pass receiving, become the second man in NFL history to do so, certainly is off to a good start. It looks as if he's going to hit the century in both departments today. He's already over 100 rushing, and he's right at 100. He's at 93 receiving. The end of the third quarter here in Buffalo. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Katie Couric's coming back.
Katie's back again, Katie.
The Today Show.
Michael. Katie.
September 9th.
Katie's back.
It's your Chrysler Plymouth dealer's big year-end clearance. And you want a great deal, right? Yeah! They're cutting prices, slashing profits, cash rebates up to $1,500. Incredible deals on Plymouth Acclaim. Great savings on Laser. Everything's priced to move. Check out Sundance America and Grand Voyager with over $2,000 in savings. Hurry in and take advantage of year-end clearance deals. Rediscover all the great American values at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Yeah!
It's neighborhoods like this that make our community such a great place to live. People here work hard to take care of their homes. At M&T Bank, we can make that hard work pay off. Our home equity line of credit can help you take advantage of the equity you've built up over the years. For great homes, there's no place like our community. And for home equity lines of credit, there's no place like M&T Bank.
When Jonathan made his debut into the Harper family, he arrived without any financial surprises. That's because his mom and dad had their health coverage through Independent Health. And while traditional health insurance companies will sometimes surprise you by disallowing parts of your medical bills, Independent Health doesn't work that way. Because we know you don't like surprises. Independent Health. Quality coverage you can depend on.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Gorska. Watch the NBA telethon after the Go Bills.
Welcome back to Rich Stadium. We go to the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. Our old buddy Joe Costanza researching. This is not a good note for opposing teams to Buffalo. They're the best team in the league last year, scoring in the fourth quarter. 160. Philadelphia, Washington, fairly distant. Miami in the middle of the pack. That's a 10-point average per fourth quarter last year. So you better be ahead going to the fourth when you're playing the Bills. Flag down. Thomas makes it to the 40, and it's holding against the Bills.
Well, that's a good call in a sense for Miami, because Miami's defensive line looks fatigued at this point. David Griggs tried to cover Thomas a moment ago and couldn't stay near him. They're tiring out there, and so these kind of penalties sort of keep Miami alive.
Holding, 75, offense. Still second down.
The house. Ballard, 340 pounds, got his grips on someone.
And he is good. This is one of the great offensive linemen in the league, and people, they've got Wolford, Richer, and all kind of other people. Hull, but Ballard, 340 pounds, very, very quick.
Kelly with another flag down, and Lofton loses it as Langford got there just in time. The ball hanging a bit, and that allowed Langford to cover what seemed to be a wide-open receiver.
Lofton can finally get his man turned. There he's turned. Now he makes the break. Now that's a pretty good recovery.
And the penalty appears this time to be against Miami.
Illegal hands to the face. 96 defense. First down.
Alfred Oglesby. And you could feel the wince of Don Shula. Consistently through Shula's career, the lowest penalized team in the NFL. He coaches not to commit fouls. Kelly knocked away by Bestie Jackson as he was in front of Andre Reed. Good coverage by Jackson.
that was close to a big play for Miami. Very close. Now, those are out breaks, and Kelly's taking a chance with him. Jackson's going to go straight up the field and then break to the outside. And the coverage is just too tight to throw a ball in there.
And no huddle. They fire again, this time to Beebe. He fumbles, and Miami apparently has recovered at the 43. Yes, Dolphins ball. T.J. Turner was in on the tackle, and I don't know if he recovered or not. Yes, it was Turner who came up with the ball.
Well, the Miami people were waiting for this play. Now, Beebe gets underneath. You see people attempting to block, and their linemen come back out and make the hits. So Beebe is so close to the line of scrimmage that the defensive linemen are coming back to hit him.
So the first fumble lost today.
A lot of traffic. Oh, there's a big hit right there.
Delivered by John Offergall, the inside linebacker who's earned his way to the Pro Bowl, voted by fellow NFL players for his talent. Beebe unhappy after coughing it up, and apparently they're going to review about what I do not know. He certainly had.
It was ruled fumble on the field.
So we're okay, I guess. I don't see any question on that one.
Here's Offerdahl, who's become quite an entrepreneur.
Dick, you don't want Offerdahl's to be tackling Beebe. So there's about a 50 to 60-pound difference in weight, and the strength difference is monumental. And when he gets a shot at a little guy like that, the ball's going to pop out.
Plus, he's got bagel power. Marino, off play action, gets it to the tight end, and Charles Henry has his second big league catch before tripping at the 35-yard line.
Henry has tripped twice after catching the ball.
He's 6'4" and 230. The Raiders took him as a free agent in '88. Was on the Dallas developmental squad in '89.
When he gets the ball like that, he just got to run full speed straight up the field, not get cute.
Second and a long one. And Higgs again, not getting that big hole he was enjoying in the first half, and instead of the 6- and 7-yard gains, now they're 2- and 3-yarders. That might be enough for a first down. Depends on the spot.
They've got to pick and choose carefully.
It is a first down. Buffalo leading 21 to 17, 21-17. With 13 and a half minutes left in the fourth period, the ball at the Bills' 33-yard line. Incomplete. Underneath to Tony Page. Good coverage by Leonard Smith.
Darn tough catch. Tony, the ball went inside of Tony. He had to reach in there right where all the traffic is, and it takes a lot of nerve to do it. You see him reaching in, and he feels this man right behind him. He sort of took his eye off the ball. Dan has to soften that throw up a little bit.
Page rarely earned the opportunity to catch a ball as a Lion and as a New York Jet, but they used him a lot in that regard. He made 35 catches with the Dolphins last year. His best in the NFL. Little delay in the give to Higgs, and a big hole. Mark Higgs inside the 15 to the 12-yard line.
That play was supposed to go to the left side of the offensive line, and Higgs let everybody collapse in and then broke out to the right. That's just great running instincts. He's very quick.
138 yards for Higgs in a career day for
now you
him.
See him start in there to the, now he bends all the way around to the outside, and he happens to pick up Page as a blocker, who does a fine job. And look at the momentum he has by the time he hits the safety man. He knocks them all back.
He has managed to throw his Thomas skills, at least running the football today. Higgs again to the 10 and inside the 10-yard line. He's about Mike Powell distance from a touchdown. Can you believe Powell at 29 feet plus? That'd be like taking off just inside the 10-yard line and jumping into the end zone. Setting that
hard to believe, especially when you stand down there and see that distance, how a human being can fly through the air that far.
Flag, as you can see in the play. fourth quarter as the shadows start to grow on a perfect football Sunday. Temperature was around 90 and 90% humidity on Friday, and today it's down into the 60s, no humidity. Fall and summer all in one weekend. Higgs tries that left side, and there's nothing there. Leon Seals, 96, blocks the hole.
Now, I'm sure Buffalo realizes that this is where Dan Marino throws the play pass. He did it the last time they were down, couldn't get it done. You know he's going to try something here with a run fake and then throwing the ball late. Last time Bennett got to it because he was unblocked. Let's see the kind of thing they do to get it done here.
Second and goal, no gain on the play. Cooper left, Clayton right. Henry, the tight end, lined up right side. The quickie is caught by Clayton for a touchdown. Mark Clayton has his second score today.
He got inside Kirby Jackson, and it was 6.
A 5-yard throw from Marino to Mark Clayton, and not much Miami noise up here in Buffalo.
Now, the thing that Jackson could do, once he got inside, once Clayton got inside, it was over. Because Dan's arm is so sharp and quick. He gets it there.
Try for point now by Bauman as Clayton celebrates another score. Bauman's kick is good, and Miami back in front 24-21 here in Buffalo with 11 minutes plus remaining.
On September 22nd, you'll get your first look at a new luxury sedan that was designed by a sculptor. Until then, photo opportunities will be limited. Watch NBC September 22nd.
The driver of this car adds something special to his motor oil. So does the driver of this car. They both use STP oil treatment for drivers on a racetrack or drivers on a fast track. STP.
Guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Walt Smith was wrong, because when Muskrat Mike discovered gold, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came downstream, it got a little better. And when reinforcements of Old Milwaukee arrived, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
Who in the world would think of using the sun to actually cool the inside of a new luxury sedan? A company where innovative ideas flourish. Watch NBC September 22nd.
If your sporty car doesn't feel so sporty anymore, you need a change. To BF Goodrich TA tires, put on a set and feel a whole new level of performance.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By the U.S. Army and Army Reserve. Be all you can be. And by First Brands Corporation, makers of STP gas treatment.
Well, these two rivals in the AFC East providing a terrific offensive show. Miami leading 14-0, then at the half 14-7. Big third quarter by the Bills, and then led by the hobble Jim Kelly. They finally get the lead. Buffalo 21-17. Only find the fumble by Beebe, recovered by Miami at the Buffalo 43, and Marino gunning that 5-yard shot to Mark Clayton for the go-ahead score. Bauman kicks it off into the wind. It dies up there. Taken by Edwards. And he's to the 29-yard line. Just a note on Mark Higgs, is having a sensational rushing day for the Miami Dolphins with 143 yards. In the opening game last year, Sammy Smith against New England rushed for 159 yards on his way to a 831-yard season, the most since Zonka in 1979. And here's Higgs, who had rarely carried in his 3 previous years in the NFL, with a huge Sunday. Keep Miami in the lead. Now it's Kelly going to work with that no-huddle. Beebe and that man who fumbled earlier. And Kelly right away puts him back on the horse. And first down for the Bills as Magruder made the tackle.
Lewis Oliver was trying to cover Beebe, and that's not a chance of it. No way it can be done. Beebe breaks in, and Oliver's going to be all over him right here. We just can't catch him and make a play.
Give to Thomas. Traffic. It seemed like Miami had him pinned in. He just kind of hides in behind all that big muscle and then drives for about 8 yards. Dusty Jackson, Lewis Oliver make the tackle just shy of the Miami 45. Lofton left with Reed slotted. Beebe to the right. Kelly to Brandon Thomas out of bounds just shy of the 35-yard line. First down, Buffalo.
John Oferdal trying to stay with Thomas. It can't be done. And this is the no huddle. Miami has not been able to get their people on the field, and they're caught with Oferdal trying to cover probably the best pass receiving back in the league.
Tough day for the officials as another zebra goes down.
Whoa.
Thomas now over 100 yards receiving and rushing. Kenneth Davis gets his first call today, and the flag goes down as there was an unintentional face mask by Oferdal. Kenneth Davis from TCU, rushed for over 300 yards last year, gets his first call.
You know, I'm sure Dan Marino on the other side just knows for sure he's going to have to bring his team back at least once more.
Another 5 yards. Oferdal in trying to drag the ball carrier down gets a piece of the mask.
Right at the end of the play.
I understand it was Don Wedge again was the official to get knocked down. That would make another knockdown. You know, isn't it 3 knockdowns and then there's an automatic decision made here? Boy, you better get a regular job, Don.
Breathing a little. Ooh, look at that.
So Kelly and the Bills to the 25. All day to throw. He finds Reed, and he's tackled at the 1-yard line. Paul Langford, a saving tackle, but with that much time, Kelly had all day for Reed to break open.
Well, they've just been taking teams apart with crossing patterns from one side of the field to the other. Reed starts on his right, works well up the field, then works between linebackers, and there's a big hole. Now, the reason that both Marino and Kelly in this case get it done is their arms are so quick and strong, they can get that ball in there. A lot of quarterbacks couldn't do that.
Inside the 1-yard line, Vernon Thomas deserves a chance at one, but it's Gardner, Carwell Gardner, the fullback with a score.
Just good power football. The right side of the offensive line give enough room. Now Jeff Cross comes from the other side and almost makes a stop, but Carwell is so strong.
That hurry-up offense of Buffalo's, will anyone really be able to stop it? Just moving at will, a short field goal missed, a ball that was intercepted in the end zone when Miami was at the 11-yard, when Buffalo was at the Miami 11-yard line. Tonight another possible score. Penalty against Miami will be marked off on the ensuing kickoff. As Norwood tries for a 28-24 lead. Didn't take Buffalo long to regain the lead. 9:08 remaining in the fourth quarter at Rich Stadium, Buffalo. Bills 28, Dolphins 24.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Bob Pullum was wrong, because when a crate of lobsters fell from the sky, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team dropped by, it got a little better. And when an old Milwaukee truck showed up, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
On September 22nd, An unusual kind of car company will bring back the glamour of the automobile. Until then, we can only entice you. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training, up to 12 months in advance, through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
On September 22nd, you'll find out about a car company that made its new sports coupe as exciting to listen to as it is to drive. Watch NBC September 22nd.
The tradition, the history, the excitement of Notre Dame football. The Irish battle the Indiana Hoosiers, Saturday.
In Buffalo, Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. Still 9 minutes left because it took Buffalo only 2 minutes and a second to go 70 yards on 6 plays. Gardner with a score and a 28-24 lead.
Well, the good news, Dick, is the score. No question. Well executed. A number of people making big plays. The bad news, only 2 minutes to do it. Now, Miami still has another shot.
Out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. Let's get an NFL update report to New York and Marv Albert.
All right, Dick, moments ago in Houston on a Raider kickoff return, watch Sam Grady cough it up. Mike Dumas on the recovery, and he is able to take it 19 yards for the touchdown. Houston walloping the Raiders 37-10 in the fourth. Back to Dick and Bill.
Who were humiliated 51-3 in the final game of last season, the AFC Championship, getting bumped around by Houston in the opener today. A quickie by Marino to the sidelines. Nate Odoms knocked Stuper out of bounds. A gain of about 7. Let's check the full scores. New Orleans a winner, Kansas City and Philadelphia victorious, as were Dallas and the Jets. Late games read this way: 19-10 Pittsburgh. Houston apparently will win. The Bears in Minnesota in a defensive struggle. Denver apparently will win today. Phoenix by a touchdown in New England. That could be the surprise of the day at Indianapolis, 16-7. Here, 28-24, Buffalo. And it's Miami going to the run, and Mark Higgs looking for first down yardage. As Jim Kelly report from the Buffalo side of the field said that Kelly, after re-injuring that ankle, would not return, and after one series that saw Frank Reich as backup lead Buffalo into the end zone to score, Kelly right back and gets Buffalo the lead. There is Jeff Wright. His left ankle or knee, his knee well bandaged after he was taken out. Keith McCullough, the starting tight end, he has not returned to the Bills today. It's a first down Miami. Deflected as he tried to get it to Higgs. One of the defensive linemen got a piece of it. Might have been Phil Hansen.
I think it was Bennett. And had he not gotten a piece of that thing, it would have been off and running for 20-30 yards. He starts in, then just gets that hand up out of desperation, it looks like. Yeah, he was trying to rush the passer. Got knocked off course. That's just heads-up football. Because that would have been a big play.
Athletic enough to get up there and just get a piece of it deflected high over Higgs, who was out in the clear. 2nd and 10 from the Miami 38. Marino's 12 for 20 after a 6-for-6 start. 2 touchdowns, both to Clayton. The Buffalo offense that has produced nearly 500 yards today underneath of Tony Page. And the big fullback gets a chance. It's close to a first down at the 48-yard line. They mark it. Marino says it's a first down. We'll see what the officials, how they spot it.
That no huddle is a beautifully executed offense for the Bills, but they really don't take time off the clock in the fourth quarter. obviously, they got the lead off that no-huddle offense, but they've given Marino enough time to slowly, methodically move down the field. Instead of having to get big gains, he can get 5 and 6 and 8 yard gains and still have time to get it done.
Close enough to measure, apparently, as they bring in the chains. Well, you thought Marino would have to throw the ball around 50 times for Miami to win today. He's put it up 21 times, 13 completed, and he's just shy of a first down by that much. But for Buffalo, without Bruce Smith and the second half losing Jeff Wright, the defense against the run, and of course Marv Levy, this year that was his #1 concern. We've got to be better against the run, and today that has not been the case, except here in the second half. They've tightened it up a bit.
Well, it's a state of mind for the Bills now. They're champions, AFC champions, so every player is performing like a champion. They're right up to their full potential.
3rd and inches. And it's Higgs. Fumbles the ball. Buffalo recovers, or do they? It's still going, and now Buffalo's Kelso on the run. Almost like a rugby scrum. 45-yard line. It's the Bills' ball, and the first turnover from Don Shula's offense.
Well, they had Higgs stopped. Aside from the fumble, they had him stopped. Good defensive line play. Look at that shot from underneath.
30th carry from Mark Higgs, and he coughs up the ball, and the center fielder in the defense, Mark Kelso, able to recover. And when we return, it'll be Buffalo with the lead and the ball at their own 45.
Guys, doesn't get any better than this.
Doug Patterson was wrong, because when the Shark Fin started playing, it got somewhat better. And when the Swedish bikini team came surfing by, it got a little better. And when a treasure chest of old Milwaukee washed ashore, it most certainly got better. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It just doesn't get any better than this.
On September 22nd, you'll get your first look at a new luxury sedan that was designed by a sculptor. Until then, photo opportunities will be limited. Watch NBC September 22nd.
When your office is 200,000 acres of rugged woodland, you need a deodorant you can depend on. Men count on Old Spice to help prevent odor before it starts. It kills odor-causing bacteria on contact. 99%. That's effectiveness you can count on with the clean, classic scent of Old Spice.
Hi, Ann. Tough day at the office?
You bet. Old Spice deodorant, because prevention is the ultimate form of protection. Count on it.
This mask sculpture is famous for changing its appearance as the light changes around it. Even more remarkable is how it changed design at an unusual car company. To find out more, watch NBC September 22nd.
The Steelers battle the Bills. The Chargers take on the 49ers. An NBC football doubleheader next Sunday.
Ray Bentley was the man who forced the fumble.
That was the hit of the game. The hit of the game if Buffalo can hold on to the ball. From a linebacker spot, he stopped the first down play, and he caused the fumble.
So Kelso, who recovered it. Now Thurman Thomas goes to work, and 10 more yards for Thomas from Oklahoma State before the safeties of Miami can make the tackle. Big day again for Thurman Thomas. Over 100 in rushing, 120 yards, over 100 in receiving, 103 yards. What an asset he is.
You know, the stamina is there. He plays just as intensely, and he's fresh in the fourth quarter. So he's always there to make a play.
Thomas again. Even when it appears you have him under control, he gets 4 or 5.
Now Dickey stayed in bounds there. His instincts were good, and I'm sure the coaches have reminded him. He wanted to keep that clock going. He collapsed just before he got out of bounds. Kept that clock going.
Still got 5 yards. Said he finally met his idol. Earl Campbell at the Pro Bowl this year was a thrill for him. Number 34. Famer Earl King.
Well, if Thurman keeps going, he'll be in that Hall of Fame right with Earl.
Some screens 2 years ago, over 1,800 last year. Kelly, wide open. Andre Reed, and he's tackled after a first down at the 32-yard line. And with a 28-24 lead, the Bills chewing up the clock now. 5:20 remaining in the game. Reed's 9th catch.
Well, I'm sure Don Shula will settle for a field goal here because he still would have a chance to come back and at least tie it. But that clock's going to be a problem. There's a burst and like a pivot hook. The ball's thrown just right on time. Now, there's a little too much maneuvering right there. You'd like to see your receiver go right to the ground. No chance of fumble.
Kelly now goes under center. And gives to Thomas, who's hit right at the line of scrimmage, gets forward for a yard. Brian Cox, the rookie linebacker, making the tackle. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Indianapolis Colts and New England Patriots. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. We're in beautiful Rich Stadium, Buffalo, New York. Over 80,000 fans for the Bills opener. The AFC champion saw Dan Marino in Miami take a 14-0 lead in the first half, 14-7 at halftime. And Jim Kelly, though hobbled by a left ankle injury suffered in the preseason, re-injured today, has rallied Buffalo to a 28-24 lead, and they're looking for more in the final minutes. It's to Andre Reed, first down at the 20, the 19-yard line. 10th catch of the game for the Pro Bowler Reed. 141 yards for Reed, and he just missed 75. Wide open, would have been a touchdown the first half, couldn't catch it.
Well, they're willing to throw the ball in this situation. You'd wonder why, but everything's working. You can't quarrel with the result.
Tackles, as is his wont, and all the way to the 6-yard line. For his size, it's hard to believe he's only 190 pounds away. He rips out of tackles.
He's got great knee action, and he's one of the few receivers that depend a lot on weight training, weight lifting. You see, they hit him, knock him off course. He still catches the ball, makes people miss. He's one of the really elite kind of guys in the game.
First and goal, Buffalo at the 7-yard line. As Al Edwards trying to get on the field, Kelly says, hurry, get in here. We got time. The clock down to 10 seconds. He's in for Andre Reed, and the give to Thurman Thomas. Thomas has a touchdown. This opener today would have to concur with the experts who say Buffalo's the team to beat in the AFC, as they have so much power offensively. Thurman Thomas, who can catch it and run it. Andre Reed, a great receiver, along with Lofton. A tight end, McKellar, although injured today.
And the offensive line, Dick, John Davis pulled from the right to the left, and a beautiful trap block by the right guard. So the offensive line is at least comparable to the rest of the team, if not the strength of the ball club.
Don Shula, what can I do to stop this machine? And it'll be the challenge facing all the coaches on the Buffalo schedule this year. Try for point by Norwood. And it's 35-24. And that's with Reed missing a wide-open catch, 75 yards for a touchdown. Another drive that led to a Miami interception in their own end zone. And Norwood missing a short 25-yard field goal. And Buffalo still has 35.
Well, let's take a look at the touchdown. To me, it was a beautifully executed play. And when everybody doing their job. Now, you're going to see number 65 pull, crap. And then Howard Ballard right behind him, number 75, makes a fine block on Oliver, and of course Thomas just breaks the rest of the tackles. Now those are two active football players, John Davis, Howard Ballard, and at the point of attack, Richard and Wolford pushing their people back. Nice job. Now that's well-timed, well-run, especially late in the game when people are a little fatigued. They're not as sharp. This team, Ted Brochabody, you saw him excited. The execution is there.
Andre Reed, who set up the score with his catches. Thurman Thomas with an all-pro day to start 91, 134 yards rushing and a touchdown, 8 catches, 103 yards receiving and another touchdown, as he has 237 yards of offense for Buffalo today. What a player at 25 years of age, Thurman Thomas.
And he'll be that 1,000 guy before it's over. I'm sure he'll be there. 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving, much like Roger Craig of the 49ers. Can do everything. If you ask him to block, he'll block.
And led by Jim Kelly.
552 yards. That is offense.
It'll be interesting to watch during the course of the year what teams can stop this no-huddle, quick offense led by Kelly in Buffalo.
Well, one thing for sure, you have to move the ball if you play the Bills.
Here's Randall Hill, the top draft pick of Miami for the Dolphins. He played with the Hurricanes, and he's to the 40-yard line, and he has speed. Mark Clayton said, I asked him how fast is Hill. He said he can run away from his own shadow. Norwood made the tackle.
He's 4.29. Now, I've never seen one of those 4.29s as a coach, but they say that is flying.
So Hill gets his baptism and a good return to the 40-yard line against a team very proud of the fact they've been best in the NFL for 4 straight years in kickoff coverage. Marino has 3 minutes and 44 seconds, and they're down by 11 points.
You know, Miami has not looked bad. They've got to be looking to a great season, much like last year.
Especially considering all the holdouts and injuries. They came into this game so shortchanged. In the air, up for grabs, and Clayton gets the deflection and a first down at the Buffalo 44-yard line. Mark Clayton, who used to claim he could jump the full length of a ping pong table, he said, I'm sold now. I can't even jump over a paddle.
Well, I'll tell you, and going for that ball up in the air, you know, a lot of other people are after it just like you.
Back to live action, and Marino under pressure tries to hit Jensen incomplete. Good coverage by Clifford Hicks, former Ram draft pick from Oregon. Well, if you're going to do any more games, just a warning for you guys at NBC, CBS, ABC, ESPN, Turner, and all the rest. Get out your superlatives. You're going to use them up in a hurry when you talk about the Buffalo offense. You need a lot of adjectives. Meanwhile, Marino and Miami trying to come up with a miracle. It is to boom, a struggle there between receiver and defender, and who wins it? It's Freddie Banks, number 86, his first catch of the day, and what a catch it was. Kirby Jackson appeared to have intercepted it. 25 yards.
Looked like both of them had it, and if they did both have it, it goes to the offensive man.
Inside the 20 of Buffalo. Marino to Clayton. Clayton with 2 touchdowns today, and he fights to about the 3-yard line before Hicks can make the stop with 2:45 left, and Marino trying to hurry his team into offensive position.
Well, Miami came out to play after a dismal preseason. Marino has really got him on track, and they found somebody. Mark Higgs is a back that the Dolphins can gain 1,000 yards with. He's quick, he's strong, you've got the receivers, and of course this truly great quarterback.
Marino spending one of the timeouts at the 2:38 mark, and a chance to talk about Mark Clayton, a veteran from Louisville, who was the all-time receiver in many regards, many records for Miami, and about to pass Nat Moore on the list of most touchdowns and most yards. He's over 7,000 yards today. He's caught 6 balls for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Clayton is still a deep threat for Miami.
Well, I was concerned that both Clayton and Duper, their skills were eroding through age, because their great years were 84, 85, 86, and just recently their average per catch has been way down. They've been injured a lot, on and off the field, in and out of the training room. But as of today, they're reaching back a little bit because both guys have played very, very well.
Claytonville now with his catches today has 443 in his career. Nat Moore, Clayton's number 2, Moore with 510 before retiring as the career leader.
Well, they've got to get in quick. You can't take any time before they score. They've got to get in the end zone quick. He's got to throw the ball. They can't take any more timeouts, either incomplete or touchdown.
First and goal from the 3, trailing by 11, 35-24. Clayton right. Marino splitting his backs, Page and Higgs. And throwing for Clayton, incomplete, well covered by number 47, Kirby Jackson.
Incomplete in the end zone.
And that was a play designed to take advantage of Clayton's great leaping ability, trying to throw it high and let Clayton leap up over that defender, as we've seen him.
Yeah, and the other factor, Dick, Clayton had gone underneath for a slant earlier in the game and got a big play. So now he fakes like the slant, releases outside, but Jackson didn't respond. He just worked right to the outside with him. But they've got to get in now, throwing the ball.
Rider formation in the backfield. Incomplete, looking for Duper, who was open, but Marino's throw appeared to be deflected at the line of scrimmage.
And incomplete. Third and goal from 3.
No, third and goal.
Now, the only run they may attempt would be 4th down, where they'd either get it or not get it, and basically the game would be over. But on 3rd down, you have to assume they're going to throw the ball again.
Touchdown of the new season.
It was all forward pass. A beautiful quick out thrown low and away, where the only man that can catch it would be Duper. Watch where the ball is caught. Watch where the ball is caught. Low and away. So the defender, Odoms, can't get near it. Now that's a great forward passer.
So Dan Marino keeps Miami's hopes alive with a perfect strike and a tough play. Duper running right at that corner pylon. And here's Bauman's try for point. That would pull the Dolphins within 4. And with 2 minutes, 32 seconds left, the ball will go back to Buffalo. Will Miami try the onside kick? That might be their best chance to get it away from the Bills the way that they move the ball.
Could be. They have 2 timeouts left.
Well, a reminder, fans, the joke's on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Smith and Blossom's Mayim Bialik on Super Bloopers and New Practical Jokes. Then it's Expose in Real Life with Jane Pauley, followed by the NBC Sunday night movie Knight Rider 2000, starring David Hasselhoff and William Daniels. That's tonight only on NBC, so stay with us. And while we have some time before the kickoff, here are all the scores. New Orleans late beating Seattle. Dave Craig of Seattle, broken thumb. He'll be out for a while for the Seahawks. Kansas City doesn't allow a touchdown in their opening day win. And Philadelphia loses Randall Cunningham with a knee injury, but beat Green Bay with McMahon at the controls. Dallas starts with a win at Cleveland, and the Jets have a 3-point win over Tampa Bay today. In the late games, it's Pittsburgh by 13 against the Chargers at home. Houston apparently to beat the Raiders. Chicago has defeated Minnesota 10-6. Cincinnati has lost to Denver big. Broncos 45-14. Phoenix has upset the Rams at Anaheim 24-14, and an upset at Indianapolis that some of you have seen. The Patriots beating the Colts 16-7. And here the scoring fest of the day, 35-31, and no onside kick as Bauman sends it fairly deep to Al Edwards at the 3. Out to about the 23-yard line. Miami has 2 timeouts left.
And they'll get to 2 minutes, so they've got 3 chances to stop the clock unless Jim Kelly chooses to throw an incomplete pass. Now, this is the point where you've got to run the ball. You've got to force Miami to use their timeouts. And you can't fumble it, but an incomplete pass stops that clock, and that's what Miami's counting on.
Just a look at Jim Kelly's report card. 29 for 39 today and 380 yards passing, a couple of touchdowns, 1 interception. That one picked off in the end zone in the first quarter. defense knows he's going to give it to Thomas. He's tough to stop. He picks up good yardage out to about the 27-yard line. Brian Cox, the rookie linebacker, as Don Shula spends his second timeout. 1 to go. Don Shula, for the first time in his adult life, 32 years, married to Dorothy, who passed away. A long fight with cancer in February. He'll go home after a game, and Dorothy won't be there.
She was really a campaigner, really a trooper. Totally believed in him, committed to him, supported him. I think, bottom line, that's how Don's been able to sustain himself so many years in coaching. Because the pressures that go with it, he's had so much family support.
And Mike Shula, one of his sons, who's now an assistant coach with him in Miami, he's upstairs there. We can barely see Mike, who was a star at Alabama. There he is before the game. He's now moved in, lives with Dad, and as Don says, he still has a sense of at least we can make cereal together.
Well, Mike's got a bright future in coaching. Like David, one of the other sons, they all have that will to do it.
Down 6. A must stop for the Miami defense. They have to stop Thurman Thomas, and very few do. There's the first down out to the 35-yard line. Dusty Jackson from the corner makes the tackle, and it's almost like you say, here we come, and the ball's going to go to Thurman Thomas, and you just try to stop us.
Well, that's that offensive line, Dick.
2-minute timeout, Bills by 4.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, Super Bowl 23.
With 3:10 remaining, the 49ers will have to go from their 8-yard line. There is a lot staring them in the face.
And the 49ers stared it all down. 11 plays later, they were 10 yards from a title.
39 seconds remaining. Back to throw Montana. Stepped up, throws. Touchdown!
Unfortunately, this is how we live. Groceries in, garbage out. Groceries in, garbage out. Fortunately, there are aluminum cans. You use them and recycle them. Use them and recycle them. It's that easy. So please do your part. We're not asking you to save the world. We're just asking you to take better care of it.
On September 22nd, an unusual kind of car company will bring back the glamour of the automobile. Until then, we can only entice you. Watch NBC September 22nd. On September 22nd, you'll find out about a car company that made its new sports coupe as exciting to listen to as it is to drive. Watch NBC September 22nd.
Karts Karai, St. John Smith, and America's Boys of the Beach take on the world's best. The Miller Lite World Invitational from Walt Disney World. Live next Saturday following Notre Dame football.
2 minutes to go. Fans came to Rich Stadium confident that Buffalo would extend their home streak against the Dolphins to 6 straight wins, but it has been a nervous victory at times for the Buffalonians. 35-31, 2 minutes to go, 2 timeouts, 1 timeout now left for Miami. Kelly only needs to protect the football. And here's the man he gives it to, Thomas. And the final timeout used by Miami as Jim Kelly's offense nears 600 yards today.
In Miami has played as well as a team can play. I have no quarrel with the way Miami's been playing.
Bill, we just received word, the story over the weekend involving Notre Dame and 2-star players, Demetrius DeBose, one of their top defensive players, and Rick Meyer, the starting quarterback, caught in a celebration off campus yesterday and arrested. We understand that Lou Holtz has said he will not he will let them play in the game against Indiana next Saturday, but he will discipline them. No details on what that discipline might be, but for a moment for Irish fans it looked as if without Meyer they would could have been in serious trouble.
Well, anything like that Dick, you know Notre Dame, either the coaching staff, athletic department, or the school management or hierarchy are going to take action. They're one school that really step in. I just hope it's not too extreme. I'm sure these are sharp young guys, and I just I want to see them play.
They will apparently play against Indiana next Saturday, and we hope you'll join us for our telecast that begins at 1 o'clock. And of course, next week, next Sunday, Don Shula, the Miami home opener, and the Dolphin fans, considering so many holdouts and injuries, have to be pleased at how well this Miami team has played, especially on offense. Defense hasn't stopped Buffalo, but not many do. And for Buffalo fans, trip to Minneapolis. Many folks have already made their ticket plans and travel plans to go to the Super Bowl. They feel Buffalo will be there. Jim Kelly, despite the fact he left the game with an ankle that had a report, official report, a Buffalo report that he would not return, has come back, and despite the pain that he must be feeling in that ankle, has led his team superbly. He's a marvelous talent.
A lot of pain when you re-injure those kind of ankle sprains, but typically you can come back and play. No question about that. And Jim's as tough as they get. But they play again in Miami, and the Dolphins will be ready. So it's not over yet.
107, 106, it ticks away. Thurman Thomas. He adds some frosting, and how delicious it is for these Buffalo fans. Each week in all our games, we'll be featuring the Canon camcorder replay of the game. Today, it's this tackle by Ray Bentley, the linebacker, number 50, on short yardage play that dislodges the ball from Mark Higgs. Buffalo recovers, goes on to score a touchdown they needed to defeat Miami today. And now the final seconds tick away. They'll have to run one more play, and that'll be it. A sterling offensive show for the fans in Western New York today.
That offensive line, I just am amazed at the strength and the technique of that offensive line. They just do a beautiful job, and they're going to get a lot of credit during the year, maybe not as much as Thomas, but they've been in there and they've done their job.
So close, but so far for Don Shula. Marv Levy's team off on a winning step. Final 35-31. We'll be back with our final comments in just a moment.
24-hour stakeout.
I hear him coming.
Your equipment better work, and in close quarters, your deodorant better work overtime. That's why Sure made new Pro Stick for men to protect for over 24 hours. In close quarters, we didn't want Pro Stick to come on strong then fade early. New Pro Stick has a long-lasting ingredient so our scents don't come on too strong but protect for over 24 hours.
Got it. Let's call it a night. There you go. You mean a day?
Try new Sure Pro Stick for men. The Pro works overtime every time.
So they celebrate in Buffalo. Your thoughts, Bill?
Both clubs will have big years. I think Buffalo is going to be right on top of the league when it's over.
Final score 35-31. Buffalo beats Miami tonight on NBC. Super bloopers, new practical jokes, followed by expose in real life with Jane Pauley. That's the NBC Sunday night movie, Knight Rider 2000. For Bill Walsh, Dick Enberg, this has been NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. Come fly the friendly skies.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports, network of the games of the 25th Olympiad.
The art of listening is very important. You have to listen. If you don't listen, you're going to miss part of a story.
When the biggest feet in the world become the biggest sources of foot odor, it's time to forget the baby powder. That's why you'll find Dr. Scholl's in every locker room in the NBA. Unlike some powders and sprays, Dr. Scholl's contains powerful ingredients which fight odor and wetness to quickly stop even the biggest foot odor problem and keep it from coming back. If Dr. Scholl's can handle foot odor problems this big, imagine what it can do for yours. Dr. Scholl's stops foot odor big time.
Sometimes you just have to take charge and take off.
Because there's nothing that says you can't be a good mother and a good friend at the same time. And you're likely to find that some things have changed for the better, while some things haven't changed at all. Bowling at BPAA centers, it's a whole lot more than a game.
Some beer companies pour their money into commercials with beautiful women and fast cars, but at Genesee, we wouldn't think of doing something like that. We'd rather pour our money into golden color, smooth body, and obviously good taste. Wouldn't you rather have it, Jenny?
Hey, get back in the car. These are the machines of the 90s.
Fuel injection, overhead cams, polyvalve.
Today's high-tech engines demand high-tech protection. Kendall Motor Oil is specifically designed to provide the ultimate protection against heat and wear under the most extreme conditions. Don't take a chance with your high-tech engine. Use Kendall Motor Oil, formulated to protect your high-tech engine. Kendall Motor Oil, pour in the protection. Kendall, available at these locations.
Hi, this is Steve Tasker of the Buffalo Bills. Please join our MDA Jerry Lewis Telethon after today's game.
Goal to Go, the post-game show, is brought to you by Labatt's Blue, Canada's #1 beer, and by WBEN Sports Radio 930, and by True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
Action continues with insights on today's game from players and coaches. It's Goal to Go, the post-game show, live from Rich Stadium.
28-14, 28-24, Bills with about 8 minutes to go today. The Dolphins had 3rd down and 1 at midfield, going for the first down, a fumble, and Mark Kelso recovers. Ray Bentley created the fumble. Bills get the ball going in to score the insurance touchdown as Thurman Thomas would take it in on a 164-yard rushing day, and the Bills beat the Miami Dolphins in the season opener this afternoon at Rich Stadium by a score of 35-31. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wes Goforth. Welcome to Goal to Go, the postgame show in 1991. The Bills are 1-0 in the season. They have done it over the Miami Dolphins this afternoon. Stick with us. In just a few minutes, we'll be joining Ed Kilgore and Mike DeGeorge in the jubilant Bills locker room. Players' interviews, highlights from other NFL games, and more to come on the show. First of all, we want to get you involved with our Pepsi Telepoll Player of the Game and call these numbers for whom it is you believe should be voted player of the game. Cornelius Bennett, great defensive day, 6'4", 9900. Jim Kelly, 6'4", 9905. Kelly was 29 for 39 with a career regular season high 381 yards passing, much of that on 2 bad ankles today. Andre Reed with 10 catches, 6'4", 9902, and Thurman Thomas accumulating 267 yards in total offense, 6'4", 9907. There they are for the Pepsi Telepoll Player of the Game. Make your call, and we will have the results at the end of the day. It has been quite an opening day around the NFL, and let's quickly go to the scoreboard and show you the scores. And there were a few upsets. The Jets at home squeaked out a 16-13 win over Tampa Bay. Kansas City turned back Atlanta 14-3. Seattle lost at New Orleans 27-24. Dallas, the resurging Cowboys, beat the Cleveland Browns 26-14 at Cleveland. Philadelphia beat Green Bay 20-3, but Randall Cunningham tore knee ligaments, may be out for the season. He'll have surgery tomorrow. More on that in a minute. Here's your big upset. New England at Indianapolis beats the Colts 16-7 and has equaled its 1990 win output already in just 1 week of the season this year. Phoenix knocked off the LA Rams this afternoon, 24-14 in Los Angeles. Houston all over the Raiders at the moment. It's 40-17. Oilers in the 4th quarter at the Houston Astrodome. The Chicago Bears in the NFC Central beat the Minnesota Vikings 10-6 in a close one. Pittsburgh, the team that will come to Rich Stadium a week from today to meet the Bills, is leading San Diego and apparently will beat the San Diego Chargers 26-13 right now in the 4th quarter. Denver with a resounding opening day win at home over the Cincinnati Bengals 45-14. Later on tonight, the Detroit Lions at Washington to meet the Redskins in the NFC. And tomorrow night, another big Monday night matchup between the Giants and San Francisco 49ers. But first of all, of course, the Bills, and again, in case you've been in a cave or something, 35-31 over the Miami Dolphins here on opening day. And we'll join Ed Kilgore and Mike DeGeorge live in the locker room in just a few minutes. Now let's go to New York, where the Jets and Bruce Coughlin hosting Tampa Bay this afternoon. Jets were up 13-6 in the fourth quarter. Vinny Testaverde to Lawrence Dawsey of Tampa Bay, 65 yards, and it ties it at 13-13. Now we go late in the fourth quarter, and the guy who's done it for years for the Jets, Pat Leahy, hits a 40-yarder, and the Jets win it on the strength of that field goal, 16-13 over Tampa Bay this afternoon. Here's Randall Cunningham. Watch Bryce Popp of Green Bay pop him in the left knee, tearing ligaments. He'll have surgery tomorrow, could be lost for the season. Fourth quarter, Eagles up 13-3. Jim McMahon hits Fred Barnett on a 75-yard touchdown pass. The Eagles went on to win it 20-13 with McMahon in the substitute role. But again, the bad news for Randall Cunningham. Bills over the Dolphins 35-31. Ed Kilgore standing by live at Rich Stadium right now. Ed?
Yes, while I await one of the heroes, and there were many of them here for the Bills this afternoon at Rich Stadium as they win this one. A couple injuries, and right now nothing is official. Keith McKellar with back contusions left the game. He walked off under his own power after the game was over. Watched the finish in street clothes. Of a more serious nature, perhaps, is the knee injury to Jeff Wright. Now, Jeff moments ago told me that he suffered a dislocated left kneecap. Now, that sounds bad and it's painful, but it's not nearly as bad as if it were torn ligaments. They don't think that's what it is. He thinks he may be out 2 weeks, perhaps no longer than that, so that would be good news on the situation with Jeff Wright. Jim Kelly has the sore ankle, but the gutsy guy came in and finished up and had a phenomenal afternoon, as did Thurman Thomas, who, again, as you were just told there, had over 260 total yards, including that big gainer there late in the football game that salted it away for the Bills. We'll have one of the Bills stars coming right up here in just a minute. Wes?
Okay, Ed, thank you. And more to come on the post-game show after this break. Stay with us.
If you're looking for the best Bills coverage pre- and post-game, there's one radio station that's covered the Bills on and off the field for over 10 years. Not just the game, that's the easy part, but the stuff you need to know to appreciate the game, to see the difference between this radio station's coverage and the rest. All you have to do is listen.
If you're not sure about it, stick around for some more clues.
WBEN's NFL Report, pre- and post-game. It's Buffalo's best Bills coverage.
Can do it with true value.
When's the right time to paint your home? Right now, with the lowest price of the year on quality True Test Easy Care Flat Finish. Power priced at $10.48 a gallon. Then save on their quality Weatherall Flat Finish house paint for $12.98 a gallon. And save on Woodsman Naturals for siding or decks. Power priced at $16.98 a gallon during True Test home decorating savings at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
What is refreshing? It's the taste. The taste that could only come from a cold blue light right out of the ice. Now, that's refreshing.
Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come.
Welcome back to the post-game show. Ed Kilgore now standing by live with Ray Bentley in the Bills locker room. Ed?
Thanks, Wes. Yes, you know, Ray Bentley didn't have, 3-4 touchdowns, didn't throw any TD passes, didn't do anything like that, and yet, Ray, your hit in the fourth quarter there may have turned this game around. Maybe you can tell me exactly what happened on the play.
I got to give the credit to the defensive line and Darryl Talley because they came in there and took out all the interference. It was a straight shot for me, and I caught him just as he was going to jump. And that's when he doesn't have the ball real good, it shot right out.
Here we see it. It was a 3rd-and-1 play, big play for the Dolphins.
Darryl take him out and just opened wide up. Come in there, throw your head in there, and see what happens.
And now Kelso with the ball, reverses direction, and finally decides that discretion is the better part of valor and hits the dirt. But that preserved a 28-24 lead at the time. But in this game, you never knew how many points were going to be enough. The Dolphins offensively gave you fits, well, throughout the game, but especially in the first half.
Yeah, they sure did. We expected a hurry-up kind of thing from them. They came out power football, and to their credit, they knocked us off the ball early in the game. We made some adjustments and were able to contain them a little bit in the second half, but they're a very good football team.
Ray, mentally, what was it like for you? You didn't start in the game. Bailey did. You came on in the second half after watching from the sidelines. I know that has to be a little frustrating, particularly for a veteran like yourself. How do you forget about it and come in and just play football?
Well, I've been referred to as the consummate team player, which I don't know if I like that or not, but hey, I just want to win, and if I can come in there, and no matter if it's starting out or coming in late and helping out to get this team a victory, then that's what I'm for.
All right. Congratulations on a terrific game, Ray. The Bills, again, 1-0, and we're going to go back to Wes right now.
Okay, Ed, thank you. Before we join Marv Levy's press conference, I want to run down the scores again for you. The Jets over Tampa Bay by 3. KC beats Atlanta 14-3. Seattle losing at New Orleans. The Cowboys beat the Browns 26-14. Philadelphia, despite losing Cunningham, beats Green Bay. New England with an upset win in Indianapolis. Phoenix knocks off the LA Rams at home. Raiders losing at Houston. Minnesota loses at Chicago in the black and blue game. Pittsburgh over San Diego. The Steelers come to Rich Stadium next week. Denver big over Cincinnati on opening day. Detroit plays at Washington tonight. And, of course, the 49ers and Giants tomorrow night at the Meadowlands. Now we join Bills head coach Marv Levy live at his post-game press conference.
Ball with Thurman run and pass almost always, but as the game unfolds and as the quarterback, because he calls a great deal of it, as he sees what's there on the basis of what you plan during the week, he'll call what he feels are appropriate plays.
Given Kelly's situation with the ankle, what does that say about him, the way he came back after the second injury, and he played even better, it seems, once he hurt him the second time?
Well, again, it takes a unique individual. You have to have the ability. He does have ability. You have to have some great toughness. You talk about leadership. I keep hearing about somebody's a leader in the locker room. I don't want leaders in the locker room. I want guys out there that can play. Only players can lead. Only players can lead. And I think it says a lot for the man. Had he not succeeded in bringing us back to a win, that's not the only measure of the quality of a person. You're not going to win every single time you play. I give a lot of credit to Frank Reich stepping in a real tough situation down there. I think it was third down. I believe it was, or was it second, when he went in and finishing off that touchdown drive. That took a lot, too. Don't overlook Frank's performance.
Hey, Mark, do teams still underestimate Thurman, especially when you see today what he can do in the passing game?
No, I don't think teams underestimate him. I don't think so, John. I think that he's just a great performer, and they have great respect for him right now. You might look at him, you know, Sally's just a short, squatty guy, doesn't look as heavy as he is even, and he doesn't look like he's got that Bo Jackson speed, but he's a performer.
Apparently he doesn't need much work in preseason in terms of game work either to use him
He's
that
smart. He gets a lot of work in practice. Everything he does is he learns quickly, and he apparently doesn't. Particularly a running back is going to carry the load he takes. We'd like to get him just enough to stay sharp. And the longer he's with you, the less he probably needs in preseason. Andre Reed too. Andre played very little in the preseason. Had a great day.
Once again, Marv, you were reluctant or hesitant to make give any indication about the use of the no huddle or downplaying it, and clearly that is this team's bread and butter, isn't that? I mean,
well, today we used it, and there's no sense me saying when we might or might not use it in the future. I mean, it doesn't make sense to. You can speculate, and even if I said don't, I know you will.
Coach, can you assess Darryl Talley's game? Did he play up to par as far as you're concerned? Darryl Talley.
I tell you, I really can't assess it right now. I don't know. I mean, he came through it fine. He's not in there hurting and moaning, like for his first contact. But I don't know how he played individually. The one guy caught my eye very much on defense was Cornelius Bennett. I thought he made a lot of plays during the course of the game. And there are others that did play well, and I just don't recognize it right up front.
Cornelius playing inside linebacker?
I beg your pardon?
Cornelius, second half, was he an inside linebacker?
Well, a lot in one of the long yardage schemes we were using, a certain nickel combination we were using, yes. He was, John.
How dire is or desperate is the situation now on your defensive line?
Well, we'll address it. There has to be some patching up with Reggie Rogers down, Bruce Smith, we don't know if he'll be ready, Jeff Wright being injured. It's a source, it's something we have to deal with, and We're not happy about it, but that's the way it is, and there are going to be other guys who will put on the pads and go in there and have to play well.
Okay, Marv Levy wrapping up, talking about Jeff Wright, the nose tackle who suffered a dislocated kneecap today. May miss a couple of weeks, but again, that's his prognosis. We don't know for sure. You would wonder about the patellar tendon being possibly injured at that point. We should know more later in the week. Stay with us. We'll be back live from the Bills locker room right after this word.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's just cut to the deal. No balloons, no brass bands, just serious savings, plain and simple. During Ford's factory-authorized clearance sale, you'll get a cash bonus of up to $2,000. No song and dance, just up to $2,000 savings. Or you can finally get a car payment you can afford with 2.9% Ford credit financing on Escort. Bottom line, you make it afford, we'll make it affordable.
She's back. The party
It only happens once a year, and the time is now. Everything goes. Raymore and Flanagan's fabulous Labor Day sale. Best quality furniture and bedding at unheard-of prices. Deep, bona fide markdowns are yours today from noon to 5, and tomorrow 10 to 5 on Brookline, Richardson, Bassett, Broyhill, leather, even carpeting. Plus, no interest or monthly payments for 6 full months. Yes, you heard it right. Everything goes at Raymore and Flanagan's Labor Day sale. Once a year savings today, noon to 5, tomorrow 10 to 5.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're back. Ed Kilgore now standing by with Jeff Wright, the Bills nose tackle, live at the stadium, and we join them. Ed?
Hey, now this is a guy that's a warrior. He stopped by to say hello to us despite the pain. I know you can't be feeling too good right now, Jeff. And tell us, in your own words, what you think the injury is.
Well, right now it looks like I dislocated my patella in my kneecap, and they told me possibly 2-3 weeks, but it's not confirmed, and they got to look at it some more.
And what do they do tomorrow?
They're just going to take some more x-rays and put a pressure wrap on it, and then go from there.
Have you ever had to deal with this kind of an injury before?
In fact, I've done this injury before. My first year in college when I was at Tulsa, I dislocated the same kneecap.
How long were you out then?
I was only out for, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks.
All right, well, boy, with that defensive line, they need you in there. One bright spot for you today, you got the quarterback again, and Marino's a tough guy to get.
Yeah, I'm real happy about that, but, you know, I like to play.
I was going to say, that's kind of, the joy is somewhat tempered, I'm sure. What were the Dolphins doing? They were running pretty effectively. Higgs is a hard little runner, isn't he?
Yeah, he surprised us. He's a real good, effective runner, and he's just a tough little guy. They were just running basically off tackle and some up the middle, and, you know, we just had to buckle it up. And, you know, first game, we were a little bit rusty.
All right, Jeff, listen, get some treatment there or whatever you have to do. We appreciate your stopping by.
Thank you, Ed.
Good luck. Jeff Wright, Bills nose tackle, going to be out for a while. And with that Bills banged-up defensive line, Wes, it's going to present some interesting problems for Marv Levy and his staff.
Well, that's right. Ed, already decimated, of course, with Bruce Smith out. Maybe Bruce can be back. Any word on him at all today out there?
Not really. I have heard talk that they expect him to be ready for next week against Pittsburgh, but that is not official, so we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
The good news is that Leon Seals looked good and showed no ill effects of his particular knee problem. Thank you, Ed, and we'll rejoin you back out at the stadium momentarily. Right now, we're going to go to Bills quarterback Jim Kelly live for his post-game comments.
I like Jeff Wright go down because, to me, and I'm sure a lot of the offensive line throughout the league thinks he's one of the best nose guards, so somebody's just going to have to pick it up.
Talking about the difference today, Jim, after the Oliver interception, you made saving tackles. You think twice at all because the whole stadium had that collective sigh of relief afterwards that you weren't hurt going after a guy like that.
You'll never see me run the opposite direction. He intercepted my pass, and he's going to pay, but he ran out of bounds.
How does the ankle feel now?
What's that?
Would you say that your ankle now feels sore, or did you re-injure it more or less? How do you feel in terms of next week?
Take it one day at a time. Right. I guarantee you I'll be shooting up. I'll be playing in there. And just have to keep it taped tight and take it one day at a time. I'll have to continue my treatments and go with it. Yeah.
Thurman Thomas, talk about his game.
Who?
Thurman.
Thurman who? Mr. Everything today. I'll tell you what Thurman is. Everybody knows a lot about Thurman, including myself, and I really don't have to sit up here and tell you everything. The name Thurman Thomas explains everything. I don't have to tell you.
How do you set up those runs? Are they backpedaling out of there when you're calling his number?
There's a lot of audibling going on. They tried to mix up our defense to a certain point. I tried to stick with some plays. Really didn't matter what type of defense they were in, but you try to get into a good play. You try not to check out from a good play to another good play. So you try to keep your guys on the same page, and everything worked out pretty good today.
Was Andre's
One more. What's that?
To say that Frank Reich is a great compliment to Jim Kelly when he can come in and finish what you set up?
I have all the confidence in the world, and his nickname's Chill Factor 14 because he's so cool out there. He goes in, he takes control of the offense, and he does what he has to do. He puts the ball in the end zone, and I'm glad that I have such a great person behind me. Plus, you know, Frank is not just a second quarterback. He helps me as far as when I come sidelines. He helped me tremendously today. As a matter of fact, on the last play, the counter 18, Frank called that one. So I got to give Frank a lot of credit, too, because he helps me on the sidelines.
Scored the touchdown pass. It looked like you went down and running the 100-yard dash. I guess you felt pretty good at that point in time.
Oh, I was pumped up. I didn't even think about the ankle then. As you know, it took me a while to get there.
They basically doing the same thing from Andre today that you got in that playoff game, the open seams, the spots, the single.
The thing is, it's hard to cover Andre Reed one-on-one, and they did a pretty good job. You got to give the Dolphins credit. They kept coming back, and they're a great ball club. And believe me, when I left the field, Dan Marino says, hopefully you'll be seeing us a couple more times. I say, it sounds good to me. It couldn't happen to two better people.
Jim, what did you see in their defense on the touchdown pass to Thurman? Was there something you spotted at the line or?
Yeah, I audibled off to a play that we, run a lot, and because I saw man-to-man coverage and I saw what type of man they were playing, and we usually see Thurman on a linebacker, but when I audibled, Thurman moved up, and the cornerback, if I can recall, came up and guarded Thurman, and Thurman didn't beat a defensive back, so it says a little bit about number 34.
Jim, did Turner fall on your ankle, or was when your heel hit the ground, or when?
I think it just kept jamming. I really can't recall exactly what it was, but I don't know whether I'm going to wear turf shoes on this field again. I mean, it kept jamming it, and my mobility is not the greatest from side to side. I'm going to start just going north and south because I know the one time I think I paid the price when I ran that one on the scramble, ran up the middle, and I didn't want to slide on my ankle, so I tried to go a little forward. And paid for it.
You commanded all of it.
All right, he's a gamer. Jim Kelly with a regular season high 381 yards passing today, much of that on a re-aggravated bad left ankle. Again, Thurman Thomas accumulating for 267 yards of the Bills' offense. And by the way, the Bills set a team record today with 566 yards total offense, eclipsing the record of the old record of 565 set to 27 years ago in 1964. Stay with us. We'll be back to wrap up the show in just a minute.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on.
What is refreshing? It's the taste. The taste that could only come from a cold blue light right out of the ice. Now that's refreshing.
You can do it with True Value.
Get the right tools for the job, like the Werner aluminum extension ladder with twist-proof design and traction tread steps. Then paint walls, floors, or ceilings with the Wagner heavy-duty power painter. It draws paint straight from the can and applies stain or sealer the easy way. You can with a Hudson poly stain or sealed sprayer from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
us for the MDA Telethon tonight at 9 on Channel 2.
Welcome back. Ed Kilgore now standing by live with one of the defensive stars of the game. Ed?
That's right. Cornelius Bennett had a terrific, outstanding afternoon. I don't have any of the stats in front of me, but I know that on a day when you had your big right end down and you know some of the guys were going to have to come up a little bigger maybe, and you did that.
Well, yes, I knew it back in training camp that for us to win that I would have to go out and perform well. So I took the pressure, and I think I went out and played a pretty fine football game.
You certainly did, Cornelius. In the second half, something we don't see very often, and that's number 97 moved inside a bit.
Well, yes, it was hurting us on the run, and I guess the coaches just on the sideline decided, hey, we need to put somebody in the middle that can run them down. And we were very successful the second half because the first half they ate us up a lot on the run.
Well, they did. What was said at the half? Because physically up front you were getting pushed around a little bit, and the Dolphins normally haven't been able to run on this football team.
Well, basically, hey, we just got to tighten up some. We knew that we had some young guys in there on the defensive line, and those guys, they rose to the occasion as far as I'm concerned. We won the football game, so those guys should be proud of themselves. They did have some big gainers on them, but like I said, we came out on top, and it doesn't matter how many yards they have.
I thought you showed a lot of poise as a football team. You're down 14-0, and it seemed like every break was kind of going Miami's way, and yet nobody seemed to panic.
Well, no, this is the first game of the season. It was a big game for both teams, and we knew that, hey, this is not a championship game as of yet. It might wind up, later on in the season, but, it's the first, 16 games, so we had to go out and do our best, and we did. I think, we did give up a lot of points, but like I said, we came out on top.
Is it difficult sometimes, Cornelius, in between the Super Bowl loss and all the offseason reading about how good you're going to be again? Was it difficult at all to stay focused on this game?
No, not at all, because they're the Miami Dolphins, and they are the toughest team in our division, so we knew that in order for us to get back in position to go to the Super Bowl again, that we would have to beat them twice this season.
All right, Cornelius, good afternoon, and good luck next week against Pittsburgh. Cornelius Bennett, and we're going to go back to Wes right now with more. Wes?
Okay, Ed, thanks. A couple of updates. Finals, the Steelers have beaten the Chargers 26-20, so it'll be a battle of unbeatens next Sunday when the Steelers come to Rich Stadium. And Houston, all over the LA Raiders, 47-41 by 30 points at Houston today. And we have the Pepsi Player of the Game for you. The finals are in there, and Thurman Thomas takes it with 45% of our vote. Thank you to our 900-plus callers who called in, and we'll be giving you this opportunity again every post-game show of the season. Thurman Thomas, followed by Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, and Cornelius Bennett this afternoon. Now, Ed Kilgore again standing by live. Ed, back to you at the stadium.
Thank you, Wes, and along with Mike DeGeorge, we have some final thoughts here, and I guess there's a reason that some of the guys get the big bucks. Mike, Andre Reed gets the big dollar, so does Thurman Thomas, so does Jim Kelly, and they, although it was certainly a team effort for the Bills this afternoon, they were the guys who made the difference as the Bills offensively racked up 566 total yards. That's a team record, and although Miami's defense may be not the defense that you consider as the best in football, they're not a weakling.
Very intriguing that you bring up the point that the big guys made the big plays. Mark Clayton in the Dolphin locker room was just asked, what's the difference between the Bills and the Dolphins?
We got a show next week?
He hesitated and finally said, the players. The players. That's very revealing, and I think maybe the Bills have a few more money players than Miami at this point, because the Dolphins certainly played a good football game.
Well, they played a great game, and I'm sure it's kind of quiet and somber over in that Miami locker room.
It is, but they are not really too dejected. I mean, a lot of people made a lot about this football game, but the Dolphins say that they'll rebound, they'll bounce back, and that there's another meeting in Miami come November.
Well, that's right, and who knows what could happen in the meantime, but the Bills have some problems up front now with Jeff Wright down, and you had Leon played pretty effectively today, I thought. Leon Seals, again, Bruce Smith, it's no gimme that he's going to be in there against Pittsburgh, and if you don't have him, the Steelers can run that football all day long.
Absolutely. Seals told me that he felt fine, no pain in the knee, and that's a good sign for the Bills.
That it is. So the Bills will take on the Pittsburgh Steelers here at Rich Stadium next week, and we'll be right here once again with a post-game show, hopefully a victorious one. Back to you, Wes.
Okay, Ed, thank you again. 35-31, Bills over the Miami Dolphins on opening day. Join us next week right after the Steelers game. Stay tuned later tonight for the Jerry Lewis MDA Telethon on Channel 2. I'm Wes Goforth. Have a great week. Good night, everyone.
Goal to Go, the post-game show, is brought to you by Labatt's Blue, Canada's #1 beer, and by WBEN Sports Radio 930, and by True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout, yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say Buffalo's happening now. We're on the move now. The Bills are happening now. They're making it happen now. We got the spirit, a lot of spirit, yeah. We got the spirit. Just watch it happen now. Hey, 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 hey.
Request.
The art of listening is very important. You have to listen. If you don't listen, you're going to miss part of the story. Obviously, you want to get certain responses, so then maybe you have to change the question a little bit so that you're sensitive to their feelings, but you get what you want as well.
Together we stand, divided we fall. Let's build a bridge, tear down the wall. Let us respond, our brothers call. Together we stand, divided we fall.
Join us for the MDA Telethon tonight at